the right thing to do.
Hello, hello,
You
everybody.
know me
We
for a little
live now,
while
baby. Yeah, no, we live right now. That's probably when we get off. Hey guys, Mike and I were just talking about something before we came in, but we ran out of time.
about having a sex change and becoming a
Yeah, things like
transvestite.
that.
This way, I save on gas. Guys drive me around.
Hitchhiking
You know,
stuff. Show some sexy leg. Except he'd be
stockings,
like,
man. I hear they're light and airy.
of course, his leg would come up to most of y'all's head, so
Would
shit, it would be kind of funny
be
looking.
old breezy down there.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, everybody, welcome to the Centralist. I hope everyone's having a good evening this evening, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, for that matter. I mean, I know everybody's all over the place these days, and we get listened to around the world, so it's a lot of fun. We're just going to be talking about a lot of different news tonight, from the Ukraine to, well, looks like Slippery Hillary's going to get away with it again. Nobody around is going to get away with it. They're all going to go to jail, but looks like Slippery Hillary's going to get
I
away
think
with
that we're
it.
going to hear a
Yeah,
lot of suicides, Joe.
yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of those, a lot
I
of those
think the
unsuspected
suicide train's
suicides.
pulling into town.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
they'll be jumping out of windows, falling off of bricks. I mean, oh, I
Accidents.
tripped and broke my neck on this. No, there's a
Remember that
lot.
one guy? That one guy was working out with like 70 pounds and he got choked by the bar.
It's you gotta love Hillary. I mean, I don't know how she gets away with half of what she does. Uh, a guy, I mean, people just love her, I guess, because I mean, Jesus,
That's
who
pretty
else out
badass if you're a hitman like that. You know what I mean? A hit woman, hit person,
there? A hit
assassin.
person, yes.
We'll just say assassin. If she was in the movies, people love that. They love women like that in the movies for some reason. But in the reality, it's scary. I think those guys have to be scared because they're under oath. They got when you're under oath, you're in court. It's a whole different story. And then they're afraid to say anything because these days there could be a text out there, there could be an email, there could be something out there that's going to incriminate them. That's going to be worse than if they sit there and tell the truth. So what was the truth? The truth is that they fabricated a document saying that Trump had ties with Russia, and they put it out there all over the place. They used the FBI, they used other sources to do it. I mean, this is huge, man.
Yeah, there's a
You
lot of
know,
people in trouble for it too. I mean, there's a
Ob-
lot of people in trouble for it.
you've
You
got
know,
obstruction of justice, one thing, because of all the lies and deceit in between. But what about setting somebody up and stalking a presidential candidate? That's a huge deal, man. And she did that. She did that. She knew about this.
how she's getting away. I mean, her lawyer all but said, "Look, you did it. I mean, she did it, but she's going to get away with this. She's going to walk. I mean, maybe not. I mean, maybe something will go down and she won't get away with it. But right now, it looks like she's going to slide. I mean, it just looks like.
I'm gonna pick my last name. I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna make a new last name. Michael Clinton. And I'm gonna get away with all kinds of stuff. Mike Clinton. Mike Clinton.
Oh,
Mike Clinton.
here you go. Here's I got to even put that and put stories out on already. Hillary Clinton to
I'll
avoid
have a
direct
petting zoo.
responsibility.
The Clinton Foundation petting zoo. Mike Clinton.
If there's even going to be
Pet
one of them
pet
left, I
Mike
hear that one's
Clinton.
going away. I think that their foundation's going bye bye. But
Well, you
they're
got
already running.
Podesta. You remember Podesta, her campaign manager, and he was all into Satanism and whatever. They looked into his emails and they didn't deny any of that stuff. Of course, these guys use magic. They use all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's not unusual. They don't want it to
Hey,
come
Sean, how
out.
you doing, baby? It's you love you some.
All right, how are you doing, Joe? Hi, Michael.
No,
What's
we're just
happening?
talking about the future Empress Hillary Clinton.
Talking
It's
about
and how she never gets in trouble.
Hillary, the master assassin of the world, man.
The woman never gets in trouble. But here I found three articles since we've been talking. Hillary Clinton to avoid direct responsibility for role in disinformation campaign against Trump. Everybody's like, you
Plausible
gotta be kidding.
deniability, man. John F. Kennedy. That was the one thing that came up. Plausible deniability.
Well, I don't, but the problem for this is only in the Russian thing. This isn't about the tapping of his building or her friend inside the White House. I don't know where that's going to
It's
go.
just too much for them to delve into. Joe. They only have so much time. when you
Oh, Mike,
when
Sean,
you've
Sean,
committed
Mike,
all the crimes, when
I
you've
know.
committed all of them,
Yeah,
it's
there's a
like the
lot of
book
them.
that Charlie Sheen put out. Everything I want to do is illegal. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. At some point, they're not going to be able to catch you on all fronts.
Yeah, it's noisy around here tonight this morning.
I
Jesus.
hear
Sorry,
something
guys.
breathing hard. I thought that was just
No,
you
no, that's
excited to
Sean
see
down
me.
there. Sean's always excited to see us. Sean, Michael, Sean. I know y'all know each other from other
I know
shows.
Sean.
Hey, Michael.
I was just
Yeah.
in Gettysburg. I was just
I'm in
thinking.
the most haunted. Oh, really? Cool. We'll get there. But I'm
Yeah.
in the most haunted hotel in the state of Pennsylvania, the Hotel Conneaut.
Oh,
Well, maybe
in,
you talk Hillary Clinton into
in
going there.
Pittsburgh.
And we're
In in
doing,
Pittsburgh.
Uh, you be breaking up, baby.
I'm
He's
going, my
fading
friend's
out.
getting married.
Hello.
Uh, yeah, Sean, you frozen, baby. Something got you. The ghosties be
The
screwing with your
ghost got him.
equipment,
He said
man.
he was in a
No,
haunted place,
he
and
done
all of a
been
sudden
got.
they got
Reception
him,
up
man.
here.
Yeah. Live TV, the ghosties got him, people. We got live ghost busting going on here while we're doing the news. He done got ghosted.
So what's haunted about the place? What kind of occurrences happened there? Like, what have people seen? What have people done?
I don't think he can. I think he's froze.
I don't think you can hear me.
Yeah, I
What's
think he's
that?
froze. Oh, there
Never
you go.
mind.
Now you can hear him.
I'm too lazy to
It's
repeat what I
I
said.
have bad
anyway.
Wi-Fi here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear it. It keeps dropping you out.
Tell those ghosts to get some Wi-Fi in there.
I don't know, but anyway, I'm gonna get back to Hillary for a little bit because I don't know how do you get away with having a spy in the White House? I mean, if that was you and I, we'd be done been shot. We'd have been tried and executed
They'd
for
shoot me if I
treason.
tried to steal a Snickers bar,
I'm just
let
saying,
alone,
man.
let
I
alone,
mean,
let alone, like fabricating evidence against somebody to a presidential candidate to take them down. If you were to write it out and look at it on the wall, you say like, "Oh my God," talk about a breach of justice and a breach of trust. And all these people who backed her up, the head of the CIA, the head of the FBI, all of them. Same thing for the Hunter, the laptop, right? 51 of them said that the laptop was bogus. 51. And so I mean, and these are all the same characters who are on CNN, MSNBC talking crap about Trump, going after him, all the same type of people. So we know what they're about. We know what they're about. We
yeah,
lost
it's kind
Sean.
of
The
weird.
ghost. The ghost got Sean, folks.
Sean is being pro. I noticed this chick Jen said, if you catch her pictures of her with her husband and her family before she became the speaker, she's a little chunky thing. And I noticed she's been trying to get him pulled off the internet. They made a big deal of it. She called some of the internet companies and asked them if they could take those photos down so they look bad. Now all you see is photos of her in the White House. It's hilariously funny how this is. It's just so you got to
It's
look
you
up
know
like her
it's
bio
sad.
and stuff.
It's sad state of affair that the culture of corruption has never changed, and it's just getting worse and it's getting more ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as these Russians when you watch Russian state media saying that now. One guy said now this is just a rehearsal to go after NATO. Are you serious? The guy must not know what's going on in the Ukraine because the Russians are getting their asses blown up. You know what I mean? I can't believe how easy those T-90 tanks explode. I mean,
Well,
it
they
just
identified that pop top. That's what they call it, the pop top. They identified that if you hit them right below the turret, it pops off. It
and
just
that's
pops
those
off.
javelins. The javelins were created just to do exactly that. I
But
love that. You know what? I hate it and I love it at the same time. The entropy side of me looks at that and says, "Wow, look at this freaking guy." Like you see the Russians running for their lives, and it was like such a done deal in the beginning, even before Putin attacked. We all assumed that the that Ukraine was going to just fold, and here they are. I mean, even though their whole goddamn country's destroyed, they're still knocking the Russians back. Apparently, they lost a third of their operational fleet. A third, man, that's huge. But I guess we all thought they were big and bad, and this is the truth of it that they're really not. And they better be careful because Sweden might be able to kick their ass. They can't. They don't have any more resources. So now they're looking for people over in their 40s, men in their 40s, to join the army. They
well,
have
you
a
know
true
what? You
drive.
know what Putin said? 17 to 65.
You know what? 59, no, 49 generals have been killed. 49. That's a lot of fruit salad. Those guys have all those medals and everything.
I know.
Yeah, but whatever.
It's
It'll never be the same. And
so I don't know, but wait, who wrote that? Oh, somebody wrote in about. We're going to talk about Elon in a little while. Yeah, don't worry. We're going to talk about it. We're going to address that just a little bit.
Elon,
We're not going to let
Elon's
Elon.
Elon's penis.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Elon
His
showing the V.
$1 billion member
Yeah,
is
so we're gonna.
in.
I know his $200 billion one, but anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Getting back, so I heard Hillary put out a statement about the war today. So y'all didn't catch that, huh? 'Cause I see only about half the media picked it up. So she put out a statement on how we're not doing enough to save the Ukrainian people. I'm thinking, she will do anything. I mean, she's just a media hoe to start off with, but she will do anything to get the media off of her. And I mean, I was listening. I mean, she pretty much sold her lawyer down the road. This poor bastard's going to jail. He's probably looking at 10 or 20 years. He's going to jail. His contact in the FBI, he's probably going to jail. And God help him if the GOP makes a big swing in the midterms and then wins 2024. A lot more people are going to go to jail. I didn't realize how many people went to jail last time around on all of this stuff with Hillary's servers and all of that. I didn't know everybody in the server company went to jail. I was like, wow, okay. But the person who caused the problem, of course, Hillary Clinton, she didn't even get slapped. She
Nope.
didn't even get fined. And I know they're still investigating her foundation. Let's do the little quote thing, foundation. Um, but even if they find, you know what I'm worried about? They put her daughter in jail and not her. Because, her daughter's the one who paid for the wedding. Technically, her daughter
Well,
paid
the
for the wedding.
foundation money is kind of, the foundation is kind of defunct right now because there's no new funds going
Yeah, it
in
hasn't been for a while, yeah.
because
Yeah, we're
she's not
talking
in
about
government
that.
anymore. She can't, it can't be bribed because she's not functioning as a member of government. That's the only time she made money is when she was being bribed. They say pay to play. It's bribery. That's just a nice way to say bribery.
Well, Hillary is just such a. Oh, God, I hate even going there with her. She's,
She's not one to be trifled with, man. There's a trail of billionaires and millionaires and all kinds of cretins in her wake, like a tornado. So I mean, she is the epitome of that type of cutthroat politician. She rose to that point, and obviously she's Teflon. They talk about Teflon mafia members and that type of thing. This is so far beyond it. So
yeah,
she's
yeah.
in there.
So, why haven't I seen anything about our president in Korea?
I don't know. I read a thing where he did a bunch of flubs, of course.
Yeah,
Mispronouncing the
well, I
name
knew they
before
went to
he.
the Samsung factory and all, but I haven't heard anything more than that. It's,
Yeah, he went there to support American jobs, supposedly.
yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with it. I mean,
He
it's
probably didn't even
just.
know where the hell he was, man.
Oh, so Jen Pinsey's going to work for MSNBC, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
I
I don't
believe
know
that, but you
exactly
know
what
what?
she's going to do there.
She got her job because they wanted a real iceberg in there. Somebody who was going to just stab people in the heart and not give them any kind of breaks. Also, not convey any kind of truth, lie their face off. She has no personality. People on TV need some kind of personality. No matter how much you hate them, the ones who are on air have personality. Even Rachel Madcow and Don Lemon, both of them have personalities, but you know that that one, oh, she has no personality at all. She just is someone you don't want to look at. And she wears red a lot. Redheads cannot wear red. It's just a thing. Red and orange are off limits. Off limits when you're a ginger man. You got to wear the
She's a
blue. You get
ginger.
the black,
She's
or
the
some white.
ginger man. Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. She's the ginger girl. It's. Oh yeah, of course I did see that 9 shot. That was in Chicago, so it was 9 shot, two killed in front of a McDonald's. It was over two guys were fighting over something. I don't think it had
Fight,
anything to do with race.
fighting
One
over
man
those
took it there.
chicken McNuggets, man. As people start killing each other. There's a lot of madness going on. Madness.
There is. No, Mike. I don't think it was racially motivated. I think it's just two idiots arguing about something. They just had a shootout.
In my very state
That's what it
here of New
sounds
York,
like.
you had a guy shoot a whole bunch of people because they're African American. You know, I
It's
mean, the guy was I mean, like the area that he comes from, Conklin, New York, is really, I'm going to describe it as lowbrow. I don't want to attack everybody there, but they probably don't have electricity to even listen to the show. So it's the people who would say, "I don't believe no COVID," and really
no go there.
headstrong.
No go there. Monkey
Yeah,
boy.
real headstrong, rebel flag waving type of mentality. Well, like I said, I'm not generalizing. I guess I am generalizing, but that's what you're likely to run into in Conklin, New York. It's just outside of Binghamton, and it's also a large industrial area. So, but this guy was, this guy's made threats. He made threats in school. He said he's going to do a school shooting. I mean, all the warning signs were there, but nobody ever does anything. It's also funny how they took him into custody alive. That's the one difference between white people and black people. If a black person commits a crime and they do that, they're not coming out of it alive. You know what I mean? The police will kill them, but these white guys, they just put their hands up and they kind of walk out and there's no problem. So, which is what pisses black people off. Because
Mhm.
obviously they're singled out. This guy singled them out. Went to Buffalo because there's a large black presence in Buffalo. So, and who would he shoot, man? Some innocent people, good people, people
Yeah, he
who
shot a
cared
bunch of
about
people grocery shopping. I mean, come
yeah,
on, give
cared
me a
about
break,
their
man.
community. The guy was a real piece of crap loser. Hopefully, gets some kind of jail room justice. I didn't just say that, but yeah, hopefully.
Mhm.
I don't condone that type of thing, but yeah, hopefully, because there's no death penalty in New York State, and there's no reason to keep this piece of crap alive, is there?
I see your girlfriend's in trouble.
If this was Texas, they
AOC.
would put him in the express lane for for execution. Put him in the express lane, you know.
Yeah, we can put a lot of people in express lane for execution. Let's be honest about it. No,
Yeah, but
Jimmy.
you know what? He knows he's going to go to jail and be locked up. He's with that white supremacy crap. He knows he's going to be in that group, and then however how many years he gets, unless they just stick him in a mental institution, and then if they go mental, they don't even keep him in there for that length of time. Sometimes just a few years until the board deems them good enough to walk out. But you got to be mental to do something like that to begin with.
So, what you got to be mental about a lot of this. It's kind of strange. Did Sean ever make it back with us? Let me go find this. No, we didn't.
The ghost got Sean, man. He said it, and they
We
got
got
him.
probed. We got probed. Oh, I
I
see
think
Amelia was in the room. I just seen it. I was actually hanging out. And so, hey, Martha, I see you in there too. It's
Amelia's
no,
love of my life.
I've been
As
traveling through all the news feeds while we've been talking.
it's
It's
amore.
it's a movie. Well, I didn't have the chat thing open. I
Simply
had something else open. Now I got the comments open so I can see it. Yes, hello there, hello there, hello there.
when boy meets
We got all the
girl
good-looking people in with us
is what
tonight.
they say.
Do not make me put you on mute, buddy. That's all
Come
I
on,
got to
sing
say.
it, Joe.
I know I
When
will
the
mute
moon
your
hits
ass.
your eye like a bigger pizza
Y'all
pie,
want to hear Mike get
that's
muted?
amore.
Y'all text me if you want to hear Mike get muted.
So you want the
There's,
music in the beginning of the show?
oh, actually, it's funny you said that because I'm bringing a musician on. I haven't had musicians in a while in September. I'm going to bring in fall. We're bringing a few musicians on the network to let them chat. But anyway, get back to the news. Yes, there was a big tornado in Michigan, same place that got in trouble for making pictures of Obama with animals. I'm still not even sure what that article was about. Oh, and before anybody asks, I got a request yesterday about Will Smith. He's not working. Doesn't look like he's going to work anytime soon. And he's talking. Ladies, close your ears, please. He's a pussy. Um, it's all I can say. I mean, come on.
He's he's
I don't care. The guy could have been 9 feet tall. If someone had slapped me in the face on stage, I would have dropped them where they stood.
First of
No
all,
ifs, ands, or
he didn't
buts.
even
I
knock the
mean,
dude off his feet. So it was just
and
a,
Chris is a
a,
little
a,
dude. I mean,
Chrissy. And you know what? Chris Rock is super
it would have been
thin and
bad.
small. It'd be
He's a
easy to knock
guy.
him down. And Will Smith is a big dude and he's got a heavy hand, but his hand was open. I'm not saying this is what I'm saying. I'm saying his career was headed into the toilet before the slap. And those projects were already being canceled before the slap. So now nobody wants to go near him because of all that. They're like, oh, look at that. But he's still a very rich guy. He's not hurting. He's not going to be hurting.
He's
You
not
know,
hurt because he's rich.
if I was to advise him, I'd say get away from that woman as fast as you can and go find some happiness, man. Just go
Oh,
find
we're
some
not even going
happiness.
there. Look, that racist man. I don't know. I guess he loves him, man. I mean, let me put it like this. So, if any woman I was with, wife or girlfriend, whatever, came out on their TV show and talked about the affair they had with another man before they told me just say we wouldn't even be speaking. It would be war, is what it would be. I
Well, do you
mean, it
know
would
she
be it would
said
be like Get national awards, what it would be.
She not only
Oh
did that, she did
man,
that while he was on the show. So she's using him to get the ratings, to get people to
yeah,
watch and talking about this young 20-year-old dude that she had a two-year fling with, right? But check this out. Now she's on there saying that she never wanted to marry Will Smith. She was forced to do it. He was mean to her and all this other stuff. And wow. So now all this other stuff is coming out. But I saw a picture of her with that rapper, that I don't even think he's a rapper, R&B guy. She looked really happy with him, man. I see a picture of her, Will Smith, and she can't even crack a smile. So it's over. So you know what? In a relationship, when it's over. And you can keep it going. You can try to keep it going. You can work real freaking hard. You can go. As soon as you're in therapy, it's over. There's no therapy for relationships. There's problems that can't be solved. And no therapist, no third party is going to look in and say, hey, fix this, fix that, and then you'll be okay. It's just a prolongation of a horrible, horrible, terrible thing. A relationship going bad. It's like someone dying. It's a horrible, terrible thing. And then you move on, man. You move on. You take a minute. You don't hold. You know what? You don't hold the past relationship against the future relationship because people do that all the time. And you go forward. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Go forward.
you gotta go for it. That's all you can really do.
My friend Tommy
Um,
says we fall forward. When we fall down, we fall forward, man.
fall for it. Yeah, well, you better hope you're following somewhere anyway. It's yes, we're gonna talk about Elon because I keep getting texts about
Oh,
Elon.
yes, we need to talk about the world's
So,
richest man's penis.
so
The
his
richest
company,
man in the world.
paid a stewardess of not SpaceX. What was it? I can't remember the name of it. It's one they own that Elon owns for,
Tesla.
for showing his penis to one of the stewardesses and ask her for sex and telling her he would buy her a house. So this is what's funny to me. So he was going to buy this woman like $1 million house. She settled for $250,000 from Tesla. Now Elon has been spending the last 2 days talking about how this was bullshit and asking her to identify his penis.
Right.
Penis radio, I guess, is what this is called. But I knew as soon as Elon went against, and you knew this was coming. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I knew as soon as Elon went against the left, he was going to become a sexual abuser. There's no ifs, ands, and buts that this was going to happen. I would
This
have bet
dude,
$1 million on this.
the guy's got a lightning bolt tattooed to his penis.
You were telling her that. Now she can go, oh, he got a lightning bolt tattoo on his penis. Now you just saw the man out, man. Damn. Oh, my God.
He wants
Poor
to say, look at
Elon,
my
man. I mean,
Tesla.
this poor bastard. He's he might have a Tesla car in there, something
He
like
got a
that. I mean,
lightning
I
bolt.
wouldn't even be
Any
surprised.
dude who would launch a Tesla car in orbit of Mars has a freaking tattoo on his penis, man. And if he's
Well,
gonna
he
have
dated.
one, he's gonna have a lightning bolt. He's the kind of guy that would have a tattoo on his penis. Let's face it.
Well, he dated a crazy woman that Donnie. What's her name? Ann Hurt. He dated her. So,
She probably
well,
gave him the tattoo.
when she broke up with Johnny.
One of those prison tattoos. They take a poker chip and they light it on fire and they let
I
it
don't. I
water.
don't know, but I don't care who showed his penis. I'm not even gonna lie at this point. The man's a brilliant. Even y'all put him in jail, you gotta let him still do space. And I mean, come on, he's revolutionizing the planet. He's got all kind of new ideas going on. But man, they just pour out of his head.
I hear
Oh,
his
now wait, it's worse than that. Now they're trying to say he's a racist because he lived in South Africa. They got
he was
mad because
he
they
was
said
a
he
child
lived.
there during apartheid.
Yeah,
I hear
well,
his
yeah, well,
I hear his penis can take off and land on its own pad.
it might be able to too. I wouldn't doubt it. The
He
man's
take off,
special.
come back, and land it right where it was, man.
He's
It's
special.
incredible.
Oh, it's funny. He's got a ship landing tonight out in Nevada. In one of the no, it's in White Sands. I think is where it's landing. One of his starships is coming down tonight, and I mean, the guy's building cars, building loops, building things so you can put your phone in your head. He's coming up with a phone that goes in your head, Peter.
He's an
No more
inventor.
carrying your phone around. And he talked about trying to find the original plans for Tesla's engineless car. So there's a rumor, and it hasn't been sustained. I mean, people write big articles about it all the time. But a lot of Tesla's work has never actually been confirmed. It's just rumors and stories. Well, there was a thing. He built a car. He took the engine out of the car, and he hooked up this thing, and he hooked up a wire to it, and it pulled power out of the air. And not only could it run the car, it could even run his house. So he used it for a week and showed everybody how it worked. Of course, nothing ever came.
I just
And as
talked
far as I
about
know, there
this
was no patents.
on the last Discovery Paranormal.
Yeah.
People can hear
As
all
far as
about
I know, there was no
Nikola
patents
Tesla.
pulled on it. Yeah. So I mean, the man was brilliant in a lot of ways. We just don't know how brilliant.
So when Tesla died in 1943, John G. Trump had all of his files. The FBI called him in. He was the chief science officer, technically speaking, for our government. And he had taught at MIT and he had a lot of accolades, which is Donald Trump's uncle. That's why people kind of laughed about the time machine, because on the deathbed, Tesla told John G. Trump that he had built and used a time machine. He built it and used it, and that was in his stock of stuff. So
Well,
pretty
apparently
humble.
he didn't use it correctly because he died of pop.
Well, his
Um,
earthquake machine, he had talked about the death ray, this force field that could just knock people out and whatever and be done. He talked about a lot of that, man. But yeah, he died living in a hotel in New York. He was old though, really old.
yeah,
And
he
that was
was.
the
He
year
lived
of the
well. He was.
Philadelphia experiment. So he was in on the Philadelphia experiment with Einstein, but they weren't quite done, and Tesla had died, and they went ahead with a project anyway, and you know what happened there.
I just hate that he died poor. And I mean, oh, and by the way, going back to Elon for a minute, the flight attendants union is picking on Elon now. How do they say it? Flight attendants are not just another accessory, Elon.
The
I guess
Democrats are doing their
Elon
typical
didn't like
normal.
it.
They're pulling out all the stops to go
It's
after
not
this
going to
guy.
work.
They're going after him.
Going after Elon will only hurt them. It will not help them.
He was a Democrat for how many years? I don't know. Just
Yeah,
just
well, he
just
said he
recently.
still is. Him, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Maher all said they're still liberal. They're not changed. Their parties changed. He said that's what the problem is. We haven't changed. The parties changed. All three of them have said that now, and all three of them agree that the economy is definitely Joe Biden's
Well,
fault.
let's go back to the 90s. Let's compare Bill Clinton and his style of politics versus what the Democrats are today. He looks like a Republican compared to these guys.
Well, Bill Clinton was a centralist, though. I mean, he was a Democrat, but he was a center Democrat. He wasn't a far lefty. We wouldn't have been having arguments about bathrooms and crap like that with Bill Clinton. He would, matter of fact, got aggravated about it. And, well, yes, he got his wiki wicked, but that's come on, that's neither here. That did not affect his job. That might actually made him perform better because he didn't have to leave the White House.
You know what? Humans are
Uh,
sexual creatures. I don't condemn people for having sex, especially if they're married to Hillary Clinton. I think he
God,
gets a
no, I was
pass.
thinking the same damn thing.
He gets a pass.
You're married to the vicious woman. You definitely get a pass.
She didn't care
Um,
about the marriage. They spawned Chelsea, and that's pretty much it. And then apparently he's got love children, other love children around the way.
poor, well, you poor Epstein hung yourself in a. Okay, first off, I don't care what anybody says. I don't think the man hung himself. I think he needed to be hung because if not, he was going to rat everybody in there, mama. Uh, and Bill was on the plane. How many times did the log say? 26 times. Oh my God, Bill would have been going to prison. So he had to go. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people. Matter of fact, the only political candidate that turned Epstein down was Trump when he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago and said, "You're not welcome here anymore." That other than that, everybody else went. Going to the island with Epstein. The guy looked creepy from day one. He reminded me just there's something about him that always creeped me out. Maybe it was just my bad people radar going on. I don't know. Oh, you mean Bohemian Grove? No, I wouldn't go there either. Why would I want to go there? Michael might go there because he's a big old tall goofy little bastard. But I'm not going there. Well, maybe where's Martha? She's another one. If I had Martha with me, I might go. It might be a different story. Who was the guy who had a bunch of crazy rich people running around naked? God knows what else they doing. I just don't want to know. Just some images I don't need in my head. There might be some crazy people out there. Could you imagine walking out there and Hillary Clinton's out there naked? It would be a sad state of affairs.
Is that really what you want to see?
That's what I'm saying. Is that really what you want to see? Chris, no, that's the union for the flight attendants picking on Elon. Well, I mean, if Oh yeah, you might see that now. You might see a dozen women come out and say Elon's like that. But fortunately for Elon, and most people don't know this, he was not really a ladies' man, so he hasn't been with that many women. So it's going to be a lot harder. And we know four of the ones he's been with are interesting. So
So when they put Epstein in that cell, they put him in with this guy Nicholas Tartaglione, right? Who was a New York City cop who was in prison for killing four people, four like criminals. He was one of those guys. And this dude, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of him. Big, bald, super strong arms. I mean, he looks like he's bigger than The Rock. He's like got that kind of physique, you know. This guy was in the cell, and they so apparently this dude hung himself in front of this dude, right? But I'll guarantee this guy, I mean, going out on a limb, looks like this guy strangled his ass. I mean, the cop already killed four people, and he's sitting there for on the murder charge, quadruple murder, man. Here's Epstein, this big scumbag pedophile, and this cop is like hates criminals. Just put two and two together. Look at a picture. Draw up a picture. Get a picture of Can you put a picture up on the screen, Joe?
mm-hmm. Oh what? I don't put a
I
picture
can
of
send
anything
you a
like that.
picture of this dude. He's a freaking monster. This guy. Of course he killed his ass.
You know,
I'm sure he did it. He was happy to do it. You know what I mean?
you know, well, when I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit going on there.
No, I'm going to send you a picture.
Anything that's around the Clintons. There's just a lot of
I want you
death.
to show our audience the picture of this
I'll
guy.
send it to my messenger.
Yeah.
Um, they for some
I
reason
just sent it to you, the Facebook, where you send me the links. There it is.
all right, I'll grab it. Yeah, I just heard a good thing. No, guys, that's just. I'm not saying that Hillary. See, maybe call her Hillary. I'm not saying that Hillary killed anybody. There's just a lot of death around here. A lot of the people who were going to testify against her in several different cases died, and then poor Seth, who was working for what was his name, Mr. Magoo. What the hell is his name? Bernie Sanders. Um, he was really helping Bernie out. Bernie was making big strides, and the Clintons offered him a job,
Seth
and he
Rich.
turned. Yeah, he turned him down, and they found he did in the sidewalk 3 days later. No, he wasn't robbed. There was no blood. So he was killed somewhere else. He had all his jewelry on him. He had his wallet on him.
He had
He had his
cash.
money on him. Yeah, he had cash. They didn't steal anything. They just shot him in the back. It was an execution. It was a sin to point. It was a truth. But it's only because he wouldn't sign with Hillary. Yeah, it's all speculation, but it's awful funny that that's what happened. I mean, he was working for Bernie Sanders. The Hillary campaign offered him a job. He said no, and boom, he was dead. He was really making a big difference in Bernie's campaign, and it hurt Bernie when he died. So what can you do? Bernie would have ended up like Joe Biden though, if he died.
He had he had left the bar that morning, Seth Rich, around 1 o'clock in the morning, and called his father. And then his father wasn't answering the phone 1 o'clock in the morning. Then for a 20-minute walk, it took him over 3 hours for a 20-minute walk. And then when they found him, he was shot in the back. They also noticed that his hands and his
Hmm.
feet and his knees were swollen, like he had been beaten. I think that he left the bar. These people that didn't like him for whatever reason picked him up in a car. They worked him over on information. What do you know? Where's the emails? Because this guy, was dropping info on Clinton, and could have really done them in, right, with all this info he was dropping, and sending over to what's his face, who was locked up. So that Julian Assange. So all of that happened, right? And then boom, the guy dies outside his place. He calls his girlfriend, and he said, she's like, "What's wrong?" This was like 4:30 in the morning. He's like, "Well, I got stuff to tell you and whatever." And then she said she heard people talking in the background. He's like, "I gotta go," and then that's when he was killed. So that's what politics gets you. And no one's ever solved anything. And then you know what? The police chief in DC, there was a whole bunch of nasty stuff going on with them. They have this guy's laptop and they refuse to give it out. Then now the DC police says, no, the FBI has it. The FBI says DC police have it. So they're
Yeah,
both pointing fingers at each other. Come on, man.
yeah, that's because that way you never get your damn things on. It's like Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, it's Nobody wanted to talk about it under Trump. Oh, that's none of that. Every Democrat said it was not real. It was all fake. Now it's real.
Did you get
So
that picture?
now, I mean, but they're trying to get him on tax evasion because he spent all that money in the 2 years. He made almost
Stay on task,
$11 million.
man. I want you to show people what this dude looks like.
Oh
This
no,
is
no,
what
I'll
Epstein
show
was
it.
housed.
Yeah,
What Epstein was housed with,
where's Facebook at? Yeah, I gotta
and
find
then
Facebook
you
page.
judge for yourself. And all of a sudden, the camera didn't work facing their cell, right? And they moved him out at 11:30 at night. They moved this killer cop out at 11:30 at night. So
Okay,
that's how a 6'2" man hung himself from 4 feet in the air.
let's see. Hold on, let me find that.
They said the bones in his neck were broken, looked like someone with very strong arms and hands. Because if just to hang yourself, those certain bones wouldn't normally break.
Let's see. Let's see. Where is share? Where is I share screen? Go to Chrome. Oh, yes. There it is. Share. You come up on the screen?
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the dude. That's the guy Epstein was housed with.
Yeah, that's a big old boy. Yeah.
Nicholas Tartaglione. Come on, man. The guy's gonna be in there up for murder, and here's Epstein, this pedophile, or even maybe they paid him to take him out, right? Right? I don't know what happened. What happened to
Well, there
Taglione?
wasn't supposed to be nobody in the cell with him. He was supposed to be by himself. That was the whole thing. Yeah, he
He's up
wasn't
for
supposed to have
a
anybody.
quadruple slaying. Jeez.
Yeah. It's see that's I love those got the dog in his lap. It's
He's a very big animal person, man. Animals are great.
yeah, he's a very big animal is what he is. It's see, but that kind of stuff you got to wonder. I mean, this guy was fixing the roll on everybody, and God knows how many people went out to Epstein's Island. And Mark, I agree, not every girl there was underage. A lot of them were like 17, 18. But there was rumors there was 15, 16 there as well. And well, no, you don't have to go to Epstein's for that. You just fly into China for that. Yeah, it's legal over there. Well, there's a lot of the Asian countries where that's kind of shit's kind of legal. Well, I'm not bringing that up on there, but a lot of that stuff's legal over there. Yeah, anytime you hear somebody's going over to certain countries that have sex, you know what they're going for. Perverts. Anyway, Epstein was a freak. Everybody around him were freaks, and he didn't pay. I mean, he did get off easy. Though his girl that he probably trained from a young age is the one that's going to pay. His girl Friday. God knows how involved she was in all of this. And, I never hear anything about that trial, anything that came out of it. Everything seems to be locked down. Well, it's like the Hillary thing, Peter. Yesterday, no, 3 days ago, an Obama-appointed judge said that they were going over the Durham stuff, and they said a lot of this could not be used either because it was classified. Almost everything against Hillary was like, oh, no, we can't talk about that. I don't know what Hillary's got on Obama, but she must have something big.
She
Maybe he
got
really is.
plausible deniability.
No, I'm thinking. No, she must have something on Obama for those judges to side with her like that. Because that's risky business, man. If somebody proves that you were siding or you made a boo boo, you can get in big trouble for it.
They're probably all bought and paid for. Come on, in her world.
Well, I'm sure they are. I mean, however that judge got there, he was an Obama appointed
Dirt,
judge. So
maybe Epstein dirt, right? Look how close Bill Clinton was with Epstein. You think they don't have a chunk of dirt on people? That's what they do. They blackmail each other all day
oh
long.
man, there was probably cameras on clip. God knows what all went on over Epstein's island. God knows how much of it was recorded. You just don't know. They should have kept Epstein and sent him over to the Ukraine to help out. That's what we should do with all of our criminals. Anybody who's on death row, we should just send to the Ukraine as soldiers. I'm not kidding, people. They're gonna die anyway. Let them be useful. If y'all think I'm kidding, I'm being serious. Let them be useful. What if they escape? Well, if they escape, they got lucky. First, they put a bullet in their ass. Oh wait, what somebody just sent me something on Elon. You loving on Elon? Don't you be hating on Elon, man?
Let me see.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gene. Did you see that? Yes. No, her show's on suspension. Yes, I'm sorry. Talking about Quantum Leap, yeah, it's on suspension. Pending fucking notice. We got another show beside that's going to be on suspension too. It's for breaking YouTube rules. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just she was already in trouble, and then it happened again. and then she used. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not our business, but that's just one of those things that happens when you have a network. Sometimes people f up. No, it's just particular host. I love Elon. Long live Elon. It won't let me open it for some reason. Oh, show this as a thread. Maybe it will now. I love Elon. Elon rocks. Come on, thing, open up. What the hell?
So this cop, the one that was in the cell with him, is all right. The killer cellmate of Jeffrey Epstein ultimately came to share the same legal representative as the disgraced financier sidekick, ex-lover Ghislaine Maxwell. The lawyer comes in the form of anything but timid Bobby Seams Sternheim Esquire.
I mean, you send it to my messenger, but for some reason it won't let me open it on the one on my phone. It's yeah, I don't know. This guy with this dog just cracks me up, man. I'm sorry. Every time I see that picture, I just want to crack up. What the hell was that?
Let's see. The ex-beefy cop killed 4 Mexicans in Chester, New York, a Chester, New York bar over drugs and money dispute.
Yeah,
There you
yeah, I know.
go.
I mean, yeah, but send it to my messenger so I can open it. For some reason, it's not opening on my phone. I don't know why. It's logged in there. You
They,
know,
they
I'm
said
thinking
that Epstein was a coward who didn't like pain. He would have never have killed himself.
he might not. You know, it's a hard thing when you think about Epstein because he knew he was screwed. He knew he was going to prison the rest of his life. There was nothing he could do about
He would
it.
have gone to
Anyway,
summer camp. He would have been the
he
king of
wouldn't. You're
summer.
right. He wouldn't have went to the real prison like you or I would have went to. He'd have went to the Hillary prison, or the one like Governor Evans did in New Orleans or Louisiana. That's not the kind of prison we go to. They get regular dinners. They get conjugal visits. There's a lot of shit that goes on that we're not going to get.
He
You
said
know,
to the
so
prison psychologist, why would you think I'm suicidal? I'm not suicidal, and I would never be. He was pretty confident.
well, the 2 times I heard him speak, that's the only times I heard him say anything. He didn't sound suicidal to me.
Well, he was probably saying, like, because he was probably scared somebody was going to kill him. And lo and behold, in a maximum security facility, he was housed with a killer cop who all of a sudden, I don't know, the guy died. It's just very, very fishy stuff, man.
It was very. I mean, I don't know what it was or why it was. And he was supposed to be by himself. That was the whole point. He was never supposed
Right.
to be in
But
a
they put
cell
him
with
in with a
anybody.
killer cop. A cop, and you see the muscles on that dude. This guy could choke you out and have a good time with it and break your bones in your neck. Yeah, man. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that that guy killed him. It's just too coincidental. I don't believe in that kind of coincidence, man. Especially maximum security and such an important witness. You know, fucking talking about Epstein. He was, a witness against governors, CEOs, all kinds of people, everybody and anybody, people in Hollywood. He was a pedophile pimp.
You know, he was. I was reading what maybe you sent me what Elon said. It said the attacks against me should be viewed through political lens. This is a standard playbook but nothing will deter me from fighting for the good for the future, and the right for free speech. Yeah, I got to give him credit for that, man. I mean, anybody who's fighting for free speech is on my side right off the bat. Because like this YouTube thing we were just talking about, we don't have free speech on. We had 2 hosts get. We got just the other day. We got hit from another host got hit. Just talking about medical stuff and YouTube. If you do not agree with the status quo, it's medical disinformation, and they throw you off the page. It's actually a physical strike for YouTube.
Well, this guy, the one with the muscles, he has ties to the mob. He has ties to the underworld. I mean, come on, man. They could have easily said, hey, here's a couple mil, or put $1 million in your bank account. Whatever. Send money to your kids or whatever, right? We
Yeah,
want this guy gone. I don't know. It just goes to show you that
oh,
you're
Musk
not
ripped
you're not
Clinton's
safe
tweet.
anywhere.
What? Yeah, oh, Musk is tearing up Clinton's tweet at the center of the Durham trial as a campaign hoax and a way to try to sway the election, which that is also illegal. Trying to change the outcome. I mean, they're all over Trump about June 6th, and they're not even talking about Hillary, which she just did. So we'll see where that all goes. Let's still go. Oh, yes. Well, yeah. hold on. Yes, okay, I see it. Thank you, Kirby. All right, I just got somebody sent me the latest polls on Joe Biden. This is from Associated Press, so these are liberal polls. Liberal APC has him at 37%. Damn. I mean,
Yeah, and
that that.
I'm sure that's a lie. I think it's probably more about 15, 14. I can
I mean,
imagine.
still though, even from the liberal news, 37%. I mean, even CNN the other day tried to. CNN still trying to say he's like 42%. Everybody's like, yeah, should be.
Well, he laughs about it. The guy's old and crazy. He's turning 80 in November. You know what? He's not fit for command. He's got serious problems, mental functioning, cognitive. He shouldn't be there. I'm not saying that because I'm some Republican or whatever. I'm saying that because I'm a concerned American who was embarrassed by the leadership and also his family around him. All these people. You know, he's a frail, of falling apart older man. He's done. He's done. So
They overestimated what they thought he was. So 2 out of 10 adults say the U.S. is headed in the right direction. 3 out of 10, what is it? I said the economy is headed in the right direction.
he ran his
So
entire election in the basement.
yeah, so I know. So in April, 49% of Americans supposedly said we were headed in the right direction.
I'll be right
That's
back.
down to 33%. Uh, I don't know, Biden. He should just step down. And I know he wants to run again. That's the scary part. I know, ladies and gents, it's one of them things he wants to do. He says that he's gonna run again in 2024. See, they're all hoping Trump's gonna run against him, and then he could still win in 2024. He won't even be able to beat Trump. And right now, Trump's polling good. He's because almost everything Trump said came to pass now. Everything he said about Europe came to pass. The things he was saying about Russia using weaponizing gas and stuff like that, that's all come to pass. The economy going insane, gas prices going up through the roof. He predicted all of that. With all that happened. All I know is when Trump was president, the highest amount I paid for gas was $1.20. That was it. There was a couple of times there was 99 cents a gallon. So that's back at 70 prices. Food was cheap, beef was cheap, everything was cheap. Here comes the Biden and I mean, come on. A gallon of milk down here went up fourfold. So it was $2, now it's $8. So you could have got a ribeye under Trump, a nice ribeye. You bought it at the store for about $8. Now it's going to be about $18. Well, yeah, I mean it's just one rip off after another rip off, and then there's the baby formula issue, which still bothers me. So last week, a Democrat and a Republican went down to the border because they heard that the company that makes 40% of all the formula in the country had 10 warehouses full of formula. And guess what they do? And it's not the tainted stuff. See, they had got in trouble earlier this year because one of their runs of formula had some bacteria in it. Well, they destroyed all of that, and since they've been making new formula, but for some reason, Joe Biden's administration will not okay it. And now we're waiting on stuff to come from Europe. That's what the transportation guy says. They're all over his ass, by the way, Democrats and Republicans. Because this is just unacceptable. And it's not just about feeding babies. A lot of people have, I forgot the name of the disease, where they have to have this formula. They have to have this for life to supplement their diet. And here we are now, worried about where it's at. Here's another poll. Somebody just sent me things because I love these polls. This one says that 68% of America disapprove of Biden's handling of the economy. Oh my God, Biden, you're in deep trouble, dude.
The whole world's in trouble, man.
You're definitely in trouble. So they go down the list. They give him different points. 24% for handling the pull out of Iraq. I mean, not out of Afghanistan. I cannot believe that 22% of America thought he did a good job coming out of Afghanistan. We're all for him getting out of Afghanistan. That was Trump's put that up.
I think
Trump
they're
was
fake
changing the
numbers,
Middle East.
or they don't understand what it was all about.
Yeah. Well, Trump was changing the Middle East in a lot of good ways. I mean, he had set up peace treaties. He had countries working together that hated each other. And then here comes Biden, and the Middle East don't even want to talk to this guy. Neither does Israel. They're like, oh my God,
They won't
how
even
did this
talk
guy
to him,
get
like
an
you
office?
said. Saudi Arabia, they didn't even want to talk to him, man. They wouldn't take his calls.
Yeah,
They
because he's a
won't.
joke.
They won't. They won't take his calls.
No, they won't. And I guarantee they wouldn't pull that shit on Trump.
Hell no.
Because the U.S. has the power to cripple the Middle East. But it's he's just a weak president. It's a shame because he's the president of the free world basically, but he's weak. It scares me because, but you know what? We're lucky because Putin's weak too now. So we just got Xi Jinping out there to worry about. Bodies pulled from Porch Lake need. Oh, a wise guy goes to Las Vegas. What? You better get down there and investigate this, Michael. Bodies pulled from Porch Lake.
They're hiring
Before the
people
wise
to look
guy
for more
goes to Las
bodies.
Vegas.
They're hiring people to look for more bodies. They're paying big bucks.
Get out there and find your body. Um, Deneen is how you say, look, right now Trump's batting about 68% of the candidates he's picked this year or have got their positions or either won their primaries or winning their primaries. But he wasn't 100%. I don't know who said that. Yeah, I seen that yesterday on some Yahoo post, but he wasn't 100%. And last year he was 50-50. So he's gaining popularity again. His popularity is up, I think, 14 points. Right now, he's polling around 54%. Yeah, so if there's any election, 54% is enough to beat anybody. You can pull somebody out of California, even the California governor could beat it. And as far as the New York governor goes, you mean Como? Como could run for president, but he's got that women stigmata on him. If you can't pull the woman vote, you're screwed. The guys in
He's a
California just
Democrat,
have their
man. The
right.
Democrats are the only ones who will call him out for that. You know, he's a Democrat.
Ass man, presidential candidate, everybody will use that against him.
But he's not the governor of New York. Hochul is, and
Yeah, I know. And
she
there's no
acts
way
like
she
it's
can
her
run.
first day. Like every day, she acts like it's her first day. You know,
Because she's an idiot. And Newsom can try to run, but he's not going to win because nobody likes California. Everybody used to like California, but nobody likes
they
California.
apparently have a huge multi-billion-dollar surplus.
They're just down the drain. Nothing going right in their state. People leaving by the millions. Oh yeah, they tried to say, oh no, we're breaking even. No, you're not breaking even. They lost 4 million people this year. 4 million. Usually they have like 3 million come and 3 million go. So now they only had a million come this year and they lost 4 million. So 5 million. I'm sorry, because
Yeah,
they actually 4 million because they lost, and they're expected to do that again next year. And if they lose more than 8 or 9, Texas becomes the biggest state in the union and takes those votes from California. California's votes will drop, its electoral college votes will drop, and Texas will go up. Because now Florida, I think next year, the year after, will have more electoral votes than New York. It should have already had it because there's more population in Florida now. But the country's a changing place. And a lot of people are moving down from up north to the south or the heartland.
people are getting out of New York in big numbers.
Yeah, so they get out of California big numbers. The only problem for me is these freaking liberals move in the conservative areas and they want to vote liberal again and screw up the area again. Look, Seattle and Portland were two of the greatest cities in our country. Now they're two of the biggest shitholes in our country. I mean, you couldn't pay me money to go to Portland anymore. It's a big shithole, and it's not as big a shithole as Seattle is. And they were great cities. The Democrats
Not
just
as bad as New York City, man. New York has got to
they're
be one
getting
of the worst
close.
right now.
Yeah, they're getting close to.
Even the mayor got attacked today. Someone threw a sports drink at him from some apartment building.
Well, answering your question, Martha, Como said he was going to run for governor of New York again. As far as presidential plans, he don't have enough backing in his party to do it. Newsom's the one they want to run because Newsom's young, good looking, sharp, but his state is really effed up, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in California you can use. I heard Como might move to Canada and run to try to get Pink Shorts' job.
There you
Yeah,
go.
can't anybody be premier for Canada? You don't have to be born there, do you? Like you have to be. See, that rule sucks because I want Elon for president. Now he can't be president because he's from South Africa. And yes, Janine, he is the richest. He's the richest African American in the world. Yes. Yeah, people get mad
He's
when
the
you call him that,
richest man in the world.
but he's an African American, and people get mad when you call him that. Oh yeah, they get mad because one of my good black friends said he's not African American. I said he's from South Africa and he lives in America. He's African American, dude. Get over it. I said what happened is Y'all never thought that white people might start saying they were from South Africa, which I think is just funny as hell. Uh, it's oh, you mean his brother? His brother's an idiot. Chris Como was I was on his show twice. He's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
He's oh my god. My look, my dumb chihuahua is smarter than he is.
Poor Chihuahua.
Who I don't know if Chris was. I know Elon was born in South Africa. I don't know where Chris was born. I thought he was a New Yorker. I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I knew where he was born. Oh, he's cute. Oh my god, he's cute. Yes, I guess he's cute. I think my chihuahuas are cute. I know they're ugly, so I guess that's all. No, it's counting for taste. Well, Elon's cool. Elon's the next god of our country. Oh man, look at that! I hit the wrong button, man. I just lost half my news feeds. It's oh no, Biden's through the floor, and if the midterm turns into a disaster, he will probably fall in the upper 20s. It's he's in deep trouble. You know, Elon did say that. Elon said that Twitter had to prove their membership because somebody in Twitter sent Elon a letter saying that Twitter only has about half of what they say they have. So now Twitter has to prove that they don't have bots. Yeah, that's why he put the deal on hold. Oh yeah, and now all of a sudden Twitter's wanting to push the deal fast, and Elon's like, no, you're gonna have to prove to me how many people you actually have. So a lot of those comments y'all were seeing, like against Hillary or for Hillary and attacking other people, were bots. That's what they're saying, yeah. And they were not for other companies' bots; they were Twitter bots.
They're not allowed to lie about that. That's like lying how many customers you have when you're trying to get advertisers. You're not allowed to do that. It's against the law. It's cooking the books and you're pumping up your numbers. But social media does it all the time. A lot of people, you actually think that these so-called influencers has millions of hits. No, man, it's a very small percentage, maybe even 5% of that. So whatever. These people, they piss me off. You know what's weird,
Yeah,
Joe? It was 90 yesterday in Denver, and now they're getting a foot and a half of snow. What do you
yeah,
think?
that doesn't surprise me up there, man. That really doesn't. That's all.
The weather's wonky, man. I got a friend in India. It's so bad there right now, so hot. Which is, I mean, it gets hot there, but not like this, and not this early. They got some problems, man. But you're gonna see the
Yeah,
weather get
but
worse.
think about what you just said. It is getting hotter in northern places like that, even northern India.
Yeah,
But places like the deep south, it's actually getting cooler. It's not
even
getting
it's gonna
hotter.
be snowing for you, man. Your little dog is gonna have
It's
to go out
we
there and
well we used to get snow every 10 years. We get it about every 4 years now. So, but we actually have cooler summers. What's dangerous for us is when the Atlantic starts super heating up, and it's been heating up higher up, and it's actually more dangerous for y'all because we're actually prepared for storms. Places like New York, I mean, if New York gets a 3, 4, or 5, you might as well just tear the city down. I mean, devastation and the amount of damage is going to be ridiculous. I mean, look what a little cat two did. And I mean, I'm not kidding when I tell you I take my kids swimming in a cat two. It's not even a big deal for us. We have parties and go out and play in it and drive around in it and shit. And it damn deal wiped out New Jersey and New York for something we think is fun. So you have to. It just shows the difference in preparedness, and they're gonna have to get used to it, man. They're predicting 3 and 4s up there in the next 5 years, a decade. So, and it's gonna be another year. Most of the storms going up to the East Coast. That's what they
So what do you
say.
think about Amber Heard pooping in the bed, man?
I
This
don't
whole
think anything about it.
this whole controversy with Johnny Depp in court, and I think they're both turds, if you ask me.
I
You
don't
know,
think anything about them. They're the least thing on my brain. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just not something that seems
but
to
Johnny
not.
Depp says he listens to UPRN.com. I mean, UPR
He
Talk
can listen.
Radio.
He can listen to whatever he wants to.
He
The crazy
listens
bastard.
to us, and he likes Joe Montaldo. He likes your ideas.
Let's see, what new person is
I would say,
this? Oh wait,
what
here we
is
go.
that?
That's a frog sitting on the air conditioner.
That's a frog sitting on your air conditioner.
Yeah, on the backup window units for the studio. He's
You're a
out there
very
sitting
primitive
too.
creature.
Hey, I live in the swamp, man. You know, I tell people all the time. People tell me all the time, "You live in a swamp." Yeah, I do. I actually live in the
Swamp,
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 people.
swamp, swamp music.
I live in the swamp, and usually that when that music's not on, it's hot music. You know, it's wrong. So wait, here we go. This actually a friend of mine earlier, Martha told me about this earlier. So how does this go? So George Jarrett, they're going to walk you through this. If it comes up, I'll play it for us. So Robbie Mook's testimony in the Russian trial Friday on Hannity. So this guy, George Garrett, uh, let's see, personally, okay, he's saying Clinton personally approved the scheme. That's going to change it
Yeah,
before the court now.
he testified to that.
So yeah, to peddle phony collusion information to the media that dropped like a bombshell by her own campaign manager, Robbie Moore. So he's saying that it was her. So now, I mean, they're not going to just be able to let her go. You can't put this guy in jail because he's saying
Tell
it
that
was her.
frog to shut up, man. Well, come on.
He's got the.
I mean, you live in the swamp. Isn't there stuff that
He's
eats
singing to
frogs?
you. Yeah, but he's way up in the air right now because my house is off the ground. So
Go out there and knock
he-
him off. Then get a stick.
he's
I know you
I
got a
can't.
stick in
He's
the swamp.
outside. He's not inside. The bastard's outside. That's how loud
Go
he is.
outside with a stick and knock him off of there. Get out of
He
here,
said,
frog.
"Now look, he's offended. He's not even singing. You know, you offended his ass." But getting back to the Clinton thing, so
I think
he,
that's
he
Stephanie Panetti. You brought her up, man. I think that's the reincarnation of
no, I
Stephanie.
think she'd be haunting you, buddy. She don't want to haunt me. I'd just irritate her
She get
again.
frog on your head.
she don't want to haunt me. I'd just be irritating her.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't
Actually,
know.
I figure by
Now
now
I'm
she's been
frightened.
reincarnated. She's probably being reincarnated by now. Uh, it's a strange thing, but I mean, so you're going to see more and more people writing Clinton. I don't think she has the power she used to, or people are not as scared of her as they used to, or they're not willing to go to
Stephanie?
jail for her anymore. No, Hillary.
Oh,
It's
Stephanie was
it's
she was a badass, huh? But
but I mean, when it comes to people's campaign managers ratting you out, I mean, how's she going to defend that? She just say, "Oh, he's lying." Yeah, well, he is lying, Hillary, for you. How many times did he lie for you? And then the lawyer is saying stuff about, "Oh yeah, well they pushed it out, and we cut." So the fact that this guy could actually call an FBI agent and schedule a meeting with him really quick like that is illegal. Out of it, it's supposed to go through a process, and so they did this on the down low, and now the FBI guy's in trouble for it.
But if
And
this
then
guy
the other part of
falls
the FBI
dead,
is in trouble for not investigating. Okay.
if this guy falls dead, it's going to be very obvious. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that they've really got the balls to go that far and knock somebody off like this?
I don't know. This would be a bad one. This would. I don't know if she could get away with this one. This one is being watched by a
Remember
lot
the
of
first
people.
Godfather at the end where he like knocked off all the five families, like the heads of, and it was very obvious that he did it. You know what I mean? They told him, like,
Uh
I'm gonna let you ask about my business this one time, Michael. Did you kill those people? Nope. Now
oh.
get the hell out of here. Go make me some turkey pot pie.
Look at this. So the Russians are sending in their Terminator tank to back up their.
I know that's gonna blow up like those other ones, man.
We're gonna see. It looks a little goofy actually, so we'll see how it works
You know
out.
those T90 tanks cost like 4.5 million each.
They're a lot of money.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know what? I was listening to one of Russia's generals today, and he was talking about. I was listening to him on the way in this morning, and he was talking about. He's in the Ukraine. He's talking about. There's a couple of signs that show Putin may be reconsidering his move. Yeah, I need some pizza too. He may be reconsidering the way he's doing this. I mean, this is costing him a lot of money, but it's costing him a lot of weapons. I mean, they done lost what 6 boats now, 2 major ones, and 5 or 6 gunboats. They're scared to even drive anything in the Black Sea anymore because it keeps getting sunk.
I think we should start supplying Russia with weapons, man.
And
You know
yeah,
what
I
I mean?
know. I'm surprised we haven't actually. Hey, Russia, want to buy some weapons? We'll hook you up, man. Look, we got some anti-stinger missiles, man. Shoot them stingers out there.
We can supply them
Uh,
both on both sides and sit back and watch. And like,
don't give the Democrats any ideas, man. Jesus. Or for Republicans, for that matter, man. They be thinking they can make some money somewhere.
weapons for fuel, man. I think that's fair.
Wait. What is Trump guilty of for June 6th? I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you what I've seen. What I've seen him write on his, they reinstated his Facebook page and they're going to reinstate his Twitter page. Go to his Facebook page on June 6th. It says nothing about rioting or overturning the government. It only says march in a peaceful manner. That's all you see. He's given no speeches. They can't, because if they did, they would be using it against him and you'd be hearing it played all over. There's no speeches where he's saying go out and overturn the government or invade or break into anything. So they don't have that kind of evidence. And if somebody told you that's a lie, because, like I said, the media would be playing it everywhere. So they don't have that. Really, what they're trying to go is they're trying to go behind the scenes and find people behind the scenes that Trump said, oh, we need to overturn the election. Yeah, which isn't illegal if they thought the election had been stolen or something like that. So I don't think the June 6th is going to turn out to be what y'all would think it. And the Republicans have vowed to make the whole thing public if they win the House. Yeah, because there's a lot of lies been going on, so they want to make it public. What's her name? Cheney just came out a couple weeks ago and said, well, we have enough evidence for a criminal referral. Then why haven't you done a criminal referral? Yeah,
This
do
is
a
my
criminal
thing.
referral against Trump and see what happens.
My humble opinion about June 6th. I watched it. I watched it happen. I watched Trump uh, whip that crowd into a frenzy and incite a riot. And that's a very even. I'm a very even person in all of this. I mean, if you guys know me, you know that I don't just say stuff. And this caused the lowest of the low in that crowd to either take that, misinterpret it, use it, whatever, to go storm the Capitol building. Now, those guards, the policemen, should never even these people should have never been able to get in, but they let them in. They let them walk right past them because the Democrats wanted this. They wanted the insurrection. They wanted to show people, look how evil they are. Look at the MAGA people and look how they're out of control. But I'll tell you from my perspective, if I was one of the police officers, I would have shot every last one of those people trying to storm the building. I would have there would be no guessing as to your job is to protect Congress. Then you had those idiots in Congress running around with those bubble heads on. Remember, they put the temporary gas masks. They looked like they had condoms on their heads. Bunch of dickheads, man.
To me,
It was
I
very
find
funny.
I find no real evidence in the June 6th thing. If there was, the Democrats would have already tried to go after Trump.
Those people went after Mike Pence. Mike Pence had to go in hiding, man. They hid him in a Hooters for 6 months. It was a
Yes,
place
they did.
nobody would look for him there.
That's
He
what
was the
they did.
manager of Hooters in Chicago for 6 months, man. I'm serious.
Um, Actually, no, I don't know what the Terminator tank does. I have to read up on it, to be honest with y'all. They
The
just say it's a BMP Terminator
the
vehicle.
Terminator. It's a fancy name for it. It's going to get blown up.
Well, remember, they just sent in one of their top of the line tanks a couple of weeks ago, and it got blown up first day.
I know.
I can't. I'm not really impressed. That's what scares me about Russia's nukes and bitches might blow up on the pad. Uh, it's
All right. So
it's
what is the term? Let's see. The Terminators are designed for urban warfare and are equipped with 4 anti-tank missile launchers, 2 30-millimeter cannons, 2 grenade launchers, and 1 machine gun. So they have a maximum speed of 37 miles per hour.
okay.
And it's going to be really pretty to watch when it blows up.
We don't have any real gun on it. I just
My
okay.
new hobby is to go on Facebook and watch these tanks blow up, man. It's a horrible, evil thing. It's the entropy side of me. I can't help it, man. You know what I mean? It's like when one of those monster trucks goes out of control at a tractor pull and it runs over a bunch of hillbillies in the audience. I have to watch it. I have to see it. I've got to see it. You know what I mean? These tanks blowing up, dude. When you see that turret, you know how heavy those turrets are. Those
Yeah, but
things
see,
get
that one don't have it to it.
bl- well, no, these things get blasted 1,000 feet in the air. That's insane, man. That's power right there.
Michael and I were talking about the monkeypox earlier in the show.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, actually, Michael was talking about our country had bought a bunch of monkeypox vaccines a while back, and then all of a sudden now we got monkeypox in our country.
Millions. We just no, just recently, the other day, we bought millions of hits. So
So now we got monkeypox. So we got to deal with monkeypox and COVID and everything else. It would explain a lot about a lot of people. Actually, I call it COVID more honestly. I mean, people came out of COVID acting like idiots. Matter of fact, half of them couldn't even drive the first 4 months that everybody was back. There were wrecks every day, going and coming. Finally, people started to drive normal again. Which isn't much better, but still better than it was. But people are aggravated and angry, and now everybody thought they were going to be traveling. I mean, when I flew out to LA in April and back, I was on 4 different planes, and everyone was packed. I mean, sardine packed. It was ridiculous. Actually, posted pictures. I actually took some pictures of it. I mean, they were seriously packed.
The last 2 years you couldn't travel because of COVID. Now you can't travel because it's $100 to fill your tank and go anywhere.
Yeah, and I was getting you could have got plane tickets, and it just shows you the difference. So one plane ticket at the first 2 years ago was really cheap. This one was about 3 times what it was. I mean, I don't pay for them anyway, but still, this one was about 3 times what it was last time. Um, and you got to go and look. They took the masking mandate off of flights. Oh yeah, so you don't have to wear your mask on your flight again. I don't care. I'm gonna wear my mask on the flight. Look, dude, do that. The planes are packed. People are breathing all over you. I probably got COVID on the airplane going out there when I went out last time.
Most likely you're exposed.
You know,
It's a 2 to 14 day incubation period.
yeah.
So
So I mean, I think it's just you might be better off wearing. I don't wear them all over down here, but I still use my hands. I keep the spray bottles in my cars, so that anytime I come and going out, I can use my hands. And it
you
seems
got to
to,
look at it this way. If you think of 15 minutes worth of exposure within 6 feet with no, mask or not, or, with the questions we would ask, are you wearing a mask or not wearing a mask? People, oh, I had a mask on. It doesn't really matter, especially if you're in a car or something like that in that closed air environment. But if you just run into a store and run out of a store, it's supposedly not enough time for the infection to
and
set.
I still spray my hands. Anytime I'm going in and out of place, I spray my hands.
You know what the problem is with the hand sanitizer is that it's strengthening, it's making super bugs, and this is a
Mhm.
problem. This is something I was
It
talking
is.
about years ago. So now you have these antibiotic resistant bugs. You have
It is.
all
It
these
does
other
do it.
things that are resistant. So the next real big crisis is going to be the microbial crisis, and if you read up a little bit, it's frightening because it's happening. So people are getting infections, staph infections, things like that, where it's eating your skin, it's in your skin, and it's they can't give you anything for this. Nothing can kill it. You know what they're using? They're using maggots to eat the infected flesh, and then they're using that to heal people, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Damn, $77 for what, your Kia? Well, Optima's got a little bigger tank than the other one does.
My Jeep
But
has a Hemi, and it's got 425 horsepower, and it drinks gasoline like a big fat guy drinks beer, man. It just wants to drink and drink and drink and say, "Give me more." So I get like 250 miles out of a 16-gallon tank. That's kind of where I'm at. If I'm on
oh,
flat roads, it's not bad.
that
I'll
sounds like
go
my
going downhill
F-150
is
is
even
like
better.
that.
But if I'm going uphill,
My
forget it.
F-150 only gets 16, 18. My car gets 33, so it's a much different. It's
But I have a Hemi, and when you're going
so
uphill and you're flying, you get that power, man. You're feeling good. You're not worried about gas mileage.
yeah, until you stop the damn gas pump, and then you're like, oh my god, why didn't I get off my let off my foot?
I put 80
Um,
bucks in the other day, and I had a quarter of a tank.
yeah,
I paid
I
over
think
$5 a gallon for gas, man.
I've been getting a lot of good links in there. Federal job rules, Title 42, allowing COVID restrictions must continue at border. He just gave
That's right.
Biden a big bird, man.
That's right.
He gave him a big
Because it would have
bird.
been illegal to overturn that. Wait till they overturn Roe versus Wade. They're already threatening violence in the streets. The police are already putting people on alert, saying be on alert because there's going to be violence in the streets over this, man. So people are going
Look,
to go fucking crazy over abortion.
Elon, Elon wants to know why Twitter execs resurfaced Hillary Clinton's tweet. Ooh, Elon's all over their asses, man.
They came after him, and he's got a lot of free time on his hands, and he's the world's richest man. So if I was that dude, I would be punishing them. I would be punishing every last one of them. You know, he could just buy the New York Times and fire everybody, and then appoint him. You know what, this dude, I want him to buy the Rio Grande and keep his alligator collection there. I want him to put 1 million alligators in the Rio Grande. That will solve the border crisis.
When the liberals lost their job in
Is that
Oregon.
is that an evil thing to say, Joe?
Yes, it is an evil thing. So what can you do? What can you do? Someone should just be evil. Yeah, there's all kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you. You're gonna love this one. Woman accused of dismantling a man after sex.
What'd she do?
She cut up her boyfriend after having sex with him.
She what?
Yes, she dismembered him. Cut off
Oh,
his arms.
dismembered him.
Yes.
I thought you meant dismounted because I used to date an Olympic
Yeah.
gymnast.
Actually, this one must have dismounted with
She
a
would
with some
dismount
razor knives.
afterwards.
Oh
She
my
would kind of
God. Yeah,
fling herself
people
up in the
nuts,
air
man.
and back flap back, back flips and stuff.
So what was she thinking? Okay, I had sex with this guy. Now I'm gonna cut his arms and legs off. Or maybe she wanted to take the witchmacallit home as a trophy. I just don't know what to think about people like that.
Yeah, you know
What's
what?
this one?
Don't mess around with people that you don't know. That's the whole thing. These guys want one night stands that could cost you a member in your favorite club. you know, Forget it.
What is
Don't sleep. Well, don't sleep with people you don't know. We gotta have
Russia's
self
starting to
respect.
make. So they're blaming this
Self
on.
respect.
They're blaming Putin. They're saying Putin's been making the tactical decisions. That's why their war has been going so bad.
I don't, and then they've obviously been lying to him if he thinks he's doing all right in Ukraine.
Yeah,
Uh,
obviously.
These guys are using American tactics. The very first Americans, when we're fighting the British, they hid in trees. There was guerrilla combat. They hid behind haystacks and whatever. And here comes the British. Remember, there one long line of British. They would march shoulder to shoulder and then do the line. And these guys would be hiding all over. Guerrilla combats. It worked in Afghanistan when we supplied the Northern Alliance with Stinger missiles. When Reagan gave them all those Stinger missiles, they knocked Russia out. But Russia, we thought Russia was big and bad. Like, here are these guys technically advanced somewhat anyway, not really, but they lie a lot, which we know that. But they were big and bad, Joe, weren't they, when they had the Soviet Union, when they had all these other countries and you had millions and millions of soldiers. Now it's just Russia. And much of Russia is unusable. Much of it's Siberia or these, they have 200 square miles of swamps that no one's even ever been in. You want to look for your Bigfoot,
Yeah,
probably up in there.
Putin thinks
But
everything.
Putin, there's no with his ego. There's no. He's either got to kill himself, or he's just going to die if he's got some horrible issue, or someone's going to kill him for him. Some general's going to blitz his brains. I hear this is what I hear my inside people. Right? Don't tell anybody. I'm just telling you that Russian troops are leaving, going AWOL in large numbers, that they're running for their lives, and they don't want to fight. And it was interesting because in his speech on Victory Day, he urged the fighters to keep fighting, the soldiers. He said, keep fighting. That frog agrees with me totally. I understand.
Frog's gonna get his ass eaten
Frog's
as they
trying to
come
talk
after
over
that.
me, man, to Montaldo.
Yeah, that's a badass frog, is what it is. He's gonna become dinner. Oh, I love this article. Progressive Democrats are inadvertently restoring America's dream because they're so crazy and so nuts they're making people vote the opposite way. Yeah, yeah, keep it up, progressives. Y'all gonna lose your whole damn party at this
No,
rate.
my favorite one this week was from the leader of Black Lives Matter, and she blamed conservative media for all her misspending. Using company funds for her own personal gain, buying mansions and paying people tons of money that didn't deserve it, and then they laundered money. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to say that outright because it was their lawyer who bought that mansion for 3 million, and he sold it to them 10 days later for 6 million. And he's part of their group. It just looks like they just moved around a lot of money and they freed up 3 million for themselves to spend, and that's all that is
Now, now,
stealing.
now, now, I see our president has become an idiot. So you know there's a Russian blockade of the Ukrainian ports, right? So Biden wants to send ships to sail through the Black Sea. Russia's blocked in the Black Sea means we'd have to get them out of their way. We're not going to do that. Even our generals will be like, "What the hell's wrong with you? You want to start World War III?"
I
I mean,
don't
did
think
you?
that could even happen at this point. I have a feeling that Putin's already ordered things, even a nuclear attack, and I have a feeling that they told him no. He's become ineffectual, and they don't know what to do in Ukraine. I feel like there's a lot of confusion. I got friends in St. Petersburg and in Moscow, and communications are very spiky right now because everything has been shut down and monitored. But still, the internet, you can still get messages back and forth, and the the Russian people were kept in the dark, but you can't keep the population, the cities in the dark over something like this because it's too big. It's too big, and a lot of those people have relatives back and forth and whatever. And also, like, look at Finland and look at Sweden looking to go in NATO, and Putin did that. They weren't going to do that until he pulled this crap. So, do I think that he's moving against NATO? I don't think they have enough troops to finish the Ukraine. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. And I would love to see the Ukraine take Crimea back. I would love to see something like that happen and really push those bastards back. So, but Russia's become they were like, you think they're this real super strong pit bull. Turns out it's like that little frog outside your window. Ineffectual. Soldiers who don't know what they're doing. They don't have any combat experience. They do their war games and all that. So, I mean, Biden went to South Korea today. So, China launched a whole bunch of war games in response to that. And they said, well, no, they were planned and whatever. But you know how it goes. But China's got to be looking at Russia like, oh my God, look at
Well,
this.
actually, Russia helped us out in a couple of ways. One, it's making NATO larger, and it's allowing us to redeploy across Europe. Because the United States had pulled most of its stuff out of Europe, and now we're going to redeploy across Europe, and NATO's going to redeploy across Europe. So it helped us out. That hurts Russia and China, but it helps us out with the fact that China probably will not invade Taiwan after this disaster. They don't want to risk it. They cannot risk being cut off from the world because the only way China can survive is for everybody around the world to buy their product. If the United States and Europe cuts them off, they're a third world country again. They can't even afford to crew up their boats anymore. And yes, they do have 3 or 400 million living like Americans, but they still got a billion people starving with that.
Well, right now, China has lost uh, they've lost the support structure of Russia. They probably thought Russia was pretty strong too, and then now they're looking at Russia like, oh my God,
Well, the
and
only
then
thing
now
against Russia is strength is good.
Biden met with the Quad countries, which or they're all against China, South Korea, India, people like that. And India's got the largest army in the world. Aside from China, China's army, it's very weird what's going on. They retired a bunch of people a long time ago, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. They're not paying them any benefits. So they screwed them what they were supposed to get, and they threatened them and said, "Hey, you make waves, we'll basically just make you disappear." So there's a lot of dissension in the ranks in China. It wouldn't take much to turn the tide there. I think that the communist government has a very loose hold on the people there. Your average person in China makes about 87 cents a day. It's not like they're sitting there in wealth,
Yeah.
or like some of these oligarchs in Russia, or they all have them. Even if they're communists, they all have the richies, right? So, but you see these oligarchs, you see their their yachts being confiscated. They can't go to certain cities. They can't go to certain places. They're being arrested. So, hey, man, this is very. You know what?
Yeah.
It's a shit sandwich, but it's something that I think needed to happen. This shift to power. Russia thought that they could have shifted the power away from the dollar and focus with China. Now you see what's going on, and all we have
It's
to do
got to
is sit
make
back.
China nervous. So, I'm sorry, Jeremy Chris sent me this link just now. The five largest armies in the world. By the way, only one of them is she's a democracy. All the rest of them. So China's number one with 2,035,000
That's wrong.
soldiers.
India's number.
India,
He's using
uh,
old information. I'm
India
telling you,
is
that's India's
one
number one.
one four four five hundred, and the U.S. is 1,359. The difference between us and India is less than 100,000. The Democratic Republic of Korea, that's South Korea, 1.2 million. Russian Federation, 900,000. Pakistan,
Whatever you're reading
653,000.
from is old info.
It is, hold on, I'll tell you when it was last done. January 7th of 2021.
Yeah, it's old information.
That's pretty. I bet you. I guarantee it's pretty current. Because
It's over
China's going to have
almost
a
a year and a
bigger.
half old. That's it. I don't go by
China's going to have a
information.
bigger. China's going to have a bigger military because they
Nope,
got more
India's got
people.
the biggest military. I know that for a fact. And then comes China, and then but then us. Well, all right. These same reports said that Russia had 2.5 million troops. We know that's not
Okay,
true.
10 largest armies in the world in 2022. China with 2.18 million, India with 1.45 million, United States with 1.38 million, Korea with 1.28 million. That's current. That's Microsoft and Google say that's current. They say
Total
that's what the
per
current.
total personnel 2022 total personnel. India 5.1 million. China 4 million. Thank you, thank you.
They're not going to be no
Total
5
total
million.
personnel
Somebody's
5.
giving you BS, man. Ain't no 5 million in nobody's army.
This is the
That's
world. This is the World Population Review. These people
yeah,
that
and
put
there's
out
no
these
such
numbers
thing
all
as
day
okay.
long.
When you see
The
these
United
numbers,
States,
this
for
is the entire
total
military.
personnel, the U.S. has 2.2 million. So the
That's
U.S.
BS.
has.
It's
I'm
not
telling
how
you,
it works. When you look, the 2.18 million is China's entire military. It's everything. That's the same thing with India. It's everything. That's everything they have. All their ships, all their people,
all
all
right,
their
but
people
this
working
is it.
in. That's what it
For
is.
China, total personnel 4 million. India 5.1 million. So
And
I
I, and
mean,
like I just said, that's BS because that's not how they do militaries.
this is
Unless
this
they're
is
unless they're counting bookkeepers that aren't associated with the military, that's not what they are.
military size by country
Military is counted by
2022.
fighting soldiers, not by anything else. How many people
You're
you can put on the field, and then China
Yeah,
beats
you're
everybody
and
in
you
that.
want it. So when you have that 5.1 million, that's your draw from what you need. They both have the same amount of reserves, 1.2 million. United States has 845,000 reserves. So don't discount India. And India's got a lot of fighting heart. That's the thing because they hate China. There's a thing
India's
going
got
on.
crappy Russian equipment. They get their ass cooked. Same way Iran did.
So does
Same way
Ukraine.
Iraq did.
So did the
Sa-
Ukraine. They're using the
Same
crappy
way.
Russian equipment against crappy Russia.
Actually, they're using crappy European and American equipment. Is what they're using.
But if
Uh,
push comes to shove, the United States is the most powerful military on the planet
of
by
course it
by
is.
I don't know about 15 times. We have bases all around the world. We're in 3 to 5 minute strike time of any major city, any country, anywhere. Our B-2 bombers can fly around for days and drop bombs on people. So you can't compare. So when Putin says I will nuke you, that's the first thing he said. The first thing he went to. He played his ace of spades in the beginning, which meant something. It meant that he was unsure of the whole operation. So I'm going to attack you with our military forces. No, I'll nuke you. Well, hell, we could do that too. We could do that too. I mean, anybody can do that that has them, right? Pakistan has nukes. India has nukes.
Yeah, India's got 2 or 300. I think China's got like 400. Pakistan's got two or three
Israel's
hundred. Israel's
tactical
got
nukes.
and Israel's got nukes. We got rid of our part of the treaties was Russia and the United States was supposed to be getting rid of their tactical nukes.
This is going
We're
to come
going.
to a head. This is going to come to a head, and it's time to settle everybody's hash. And if we let it go, China's only going to gain in power, gain in technology. So we need to settle it all now with everybody. While we're going through this, we may as well commit and go all the way. I'm not
Well, the
saying
U.S.
World
is
War
taking a
Three.
different approach.
I'm not saying World
Well,
War Three, but I'm saying cut them off at their nuts.
in,
And we
in,
can do
in
that
20 years, Mike, the U.S. won't even have manned military
right
anyway.
now, dude. Ukraine is shutting down the pipeline of weapons that Russia's sending, all their supply lines, food, water, all the stuff they're sending in. So of course we're coaching them. We have a lot of CIA, other intelligence that's in there helping them out, right, to fight this war by proxy. But that's how we defeated the Nazis, right? They ran out of fuel. The Nazis, they ran out of food. They ran out of supplies. In fact, they invented the synthetic fuel that we supposedly have. Synthetic fuel, biofuel, and all that other shit. Whatever, man. There's a whole bunch of things that we could be doing, but I want to talk about truck drivers, man.
Truck drivers are
And
pain
I
in the
see every day I see how the government gives billions with a B, billions for these stupid causes, for these things that don't do anything for us. We need to subsidize the fuel on truck drivers. We need to help them with their diesel because this is what's causing a lot of the inflation. Is causing a lot of these items to be more expensive in the store. Even if it keeps our fuel a little higher. But I think this government can dip in and help everybody out, but they like people being vulnerable. They want people to suffer. They want to break you so you have nothing, so you can't go anywhere, do anything, and then when they throw you a bone, you fight your neighbor over it. This is a huge problem, and this is the government that we have. I think the Democrats want a landslide of Republicans this time around so they can blame them for everything, because right now the ball's in their court, the Democrats, and they've done nothing but screw everything up.
Well, it's not the yeah, Democrats are totally screwed up. But the
Do you
problem
think that they
is,
know? You think they even have a clue of how to? I mean, it's like a plane in a nosedive. Do you think they have a
look,
clue?
we haven't had a Democrat that could do economy before Clinton or after Clinton. He's the only one. The Democrats are just bad at the economy. They've never been good at it, and they've always hated the military. With the exception of maybe Kennedy and Clinton, all the rest of them. But Clinton closed a third of our military bases. Then Obama closed another third.
See, of course, I do a show called Red Pill News every Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Would never use old material. I would never use statistics from a year and a half ago or a year, not even a month ago, man. I like being right on
What are
time
you
with my
talking about?
stuff.
You have to. If you're doing anything with the census, the earliest data you can get from the census is 2020. That's the best you can do. There is no
2020.
other data. Yeah,
I'm
you
talking
can't get any
2022.
census data.
I just
But,
gave you statistics
but
from
there is no.
2022.
But yeah, that was bullshit statistics. There's no such thing as 5 million
How is it
people
bullshit?
in
This
India
is this is the
because it doesn't
agency.
matter what
It's
site
the
you pull
agency
from.
that reports on world numbers.
It because
This is
it's
their
apparently they
job.
don't
It's
know
what
what they're
they
talking
do.
about because there's no
I'm just sitting
military
there.
that big.
You know what? When someone reaches out in the audience and says, "Here's a link," I wouldn't pay attention to any of that stuff. Like
Yeah,
these guys know
but
anything.
there's no whether it comes from as long as it comes from reputable sources. That's all that
Oh
matters. It
God,
doesn't matter who's sending them to you. It just matters
reputable
where they came from.
sources. There you go.
It's but the thing of it is when you're talking about world numbers for military, they're open, they're everywhere. The UN's numbers, that's what we were reading was the UN's numbers, and I don't think they're going to be wrong. I think the UN
This
exactly
is
knows
the
exactly
agency
how many
that
there.
reports to the UN. So,
Well,
uh,
they
re-
don't. All the UN said was China had 2 million. That was it. That's all they said they
and
got.
I gave you a statistical
And wait, it's
breakdown.
worse than that. UN says that not only 2.8 million is what they got, that also includes their reserves. It's 2.18 million. Their active military is only 1.1 million. That's what China actually has. If right now, if we went to war with them, that's all the people that would be on the field is 1.1 million. Their army wasn't even much bigger than the Iraqi army we killed back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which was almost as advanced as the Chinese military is today. That's the problem. They're just trying to house an army. Even 2 million is a huge thing. I mean, you're talking shitloads of money.
Not
You're
for a
talking a
country that's
trillion
got
dollars a year.
1.3 billion people.
Yeah, but it ain't about the people. It's about the money.
Our country's
It don't
got
matter how many people you get.
about
Same problem India has.
330 million people, but yet
India
we have
don't have
bases
any
all
money
around the world. We spend seven
because
or
we
eight
got
hundred
the
billion.
money. That's you're making my point for me. We have money. That's why we can do this kind of stuff. China
We
don't
have
have any money. Neither
technology.
is,
We're
and
not
neither
even
is
using.
India.
They're not even using our technology in Ukraine. They're
Yeah,
using
you see what
basically.
happened.
They're using stuff that was designed exactly for what they're using it for.
You seen what happened? Russia and China came out with a hypersonic missile, and all of a sudden, Boeing decided, two other companies decided, oh, well, we got those. Hold on, we'll bring them out for you. And the next thing we know, we're testing hypersonic missiles all over the place.
And
Um,
shooting them down with lasers, which is interesting.
oh, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up. They just tested, where did it go? It's a new laser guided, it don't have any people driving it. So we're going, United States, here it is, Army tests uncrewed M113 armed with laser guided missiles and laser guided laser. It's so we're getting away from it. We're building drone swarms. We're building all kind of stuff. So now they've got this new thing for the F-35s. They have two mid-sized drones that will fly on each side of the F-35s as wingmen. So when you have like a wing set of 6 planes or 7 planes, each one of them will have two other
Yeah,
planes.
but they're not using that in Ukraine.
Well, no, we're not going to use that unless we get into a real war. That'd have to be against somebody like China. I would have said Russia, but we wouldn't even use them against Russia. Now Russia wouldn't give us the trouble that Iraq got, except for the nukes. I don't think there'd be as big a fight. I don't think the
We
Russian people
have
would fight
drone
us.
swarms that
Oh
can
yeah, we do.
swarm any target at
China
all.
does too, though. But we're not the only one that has that. It's for a long time we were, but then one of our guys has sold them. Actually, I think they just went and bought one of them. Oh, look at this, ex San Diego Bishop forbids Pelosi from taking communion. Oh shit! She's an evil bitch. That's why. that's pretty ballsy, man. You gotta give her credit for that. Yeah, give him credit for that. And then I've been hearing stuff like the military. Our military's been having problems keeping people in it. Especially things like the Navy and all, because you're out at sea a lot. So, but right now we're not doing anything. We're not at war with anybody. We're not really fighting anybody. This is the first time America hasn't been at war in a long time. Since shit in a long time. You got to go all the way back to Reagan, I think. Yeah, before we went to war. So it's nice that our country's not killing people. It was shitty that we left $80 billion worth of hardware to the Afghanis, but
You just say that we're not at war with anybody?
we're not at war with anybody.
Are you kidding?
We're not at war with anybody. The country's not at war with anybody. The last war we had was Afghanistan, and we left that. That's dead. We're not at war with anybody.
No, so you don't think we're fighting Russia through proxy?
No, we could give a shit about Russia. If we were fighting Russia through proxy, we would be sending tons of ammo and equipment. We're not sending anything.
We're sending them
we
billions
haven't
of
even
bucks worth
sent,
of stuff that they can use. A lot of them, they don't know how to use our equipment, so we have to send them stuff.
But we haven't sent them from the first bunch. We said we were going to give them with the 5.
Like we're giving them point and shoot weapons, basically.
You did hear Lizinski the other say, asking America, "Where's the stuff you're sending me?" When they're not getting anything from us. Everything they're getting is from the Europeans and Poland and places like that. They ain't got shit from the United States. We don't care. We're hanging them out to dry. Biden don't care about the Ukrainians. These are the people who said his son was a criminal. Like, he gives a shit about them. He's hoping they die. Right now, as far as I know right now, we have something very limited. All I ever keep hearing is Congress is doing this, Congress is doing that, Congress is doing this. But nothing's actually physically left the country and landed in the Ukraine. The only thing that's going there is the European stuff. So America's full of shit. It says, "Oh, we're back in the Ukraine. Well, we'll get some stuff over there." I'm really thinking they're hoping the war will end before we have to send all this equipment.
All right, so I'll ask you one question: if we never got involved, what do you think would have happened?
What do you mean? If we would have got involved, this wouldn't have happened. So in other words, when Russia was putting all these troops around the Ukraine, if we did war games in the Ukraine, this wouldn't have happened. Because Russia would have never tried to take on the United States.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about since the war started, if we didn't get involved and had given the Ukraine all these weapons and
we haven't done it. Europe has done it. We haven't gotten involved. Europe has gotten involved.
But so you haven't seen all the money we've been giving them and all the weapons packages?
We haven't been getting any. He was just bitching about it. The president of Ukraine was just bitching about it yesterday.
Well, because he wants more and more and more.
No, he wants what he was promised and he hasn't got it. That's what he keeps telling everybody. And our media don't want to talk about it, but he hasn't got what our country promised him.
But we've been giving him the UK javelins. We've been giving him, paying for it, basically. Giving him all kinds of, we gave him a whole bunch of howitzers, and plus the weapons.
But the howitzers hasn't been sent yet. They were just talking about that today. They haven't been sent yet.
They're using them in the field. I was just watching them use them in the field.
In our field. Everything they've got.
I was just watching a video earlier of them using them in the field against
You must have been watching a fake video because our news
today
said we haven't sent.
It's the media.
They said we were sending 118 of them and none of them have landed on the Ukraine.
If you want to talk about fake, then you can question everything that comes out of there. Everything, any information.
The Ukrainian president was on TV yesterday.
He was asking you. I'm not a fan of him either.
But he was asking, where are the weapons in the United States? He actually said, where's the weapons, Biden? And he said it many times. Biden's not giving them to him.
If you listen to the Pentagon, the Pentagon's been sending them.
No, they ain't saying nothing. They're getting everything they're getting from Europe. They're getting, and they shouldn't even be getting that because that's NATO country.
That's how we're sending them. We're not sending them through FedEx. It's going through Europe, it's going through NATO. We're part of NATO, so we're all sending stuff together. Right?
We're not sending anything. Even our media is on that. Even our media is saying, why haven't we sent anything really to the Ukraine yet? We've got equipment sitting on docks. The U.S. Navy was talking about this 2 days ago, waiting to be shipped, but they haven't been approved to be released yet. And there's according to the Navy, there's several shiploads worth of crap, but they're just sitting in Norfolk, and that's where they're sitting. They won't release them to be sent over there. Just like they won't release those planes. They won't release the helicopters. Biden keeps saying he's doing it, but it just doesn't get done. It's like everything else Biden does. He's saying he's doing it, but he's getting done. We were supposed to give them $40 billion worth of equipment. That's half the shit we left in Iraq, and I think so far it's under $100 million of stuff that's made it over there. We could be dropping shit on their border all day long. We're just not doing it.
All
And I don't
this,
know why
all these
Biden doesn't want
reports
to do it.
saying they're
I
getting
think
it,
Biden
but I
hates it.
know Zelensky wants more. Even their $800 million package, what 800 Stinger missiles, 2,000 Javelin. I mean, so if we're not sending it, where are they getting the stuff from? Where are they
They're
getting all the
getting it from
javelins?
Europe. Actually, most of the missiles they're using are European missiles.
The
Even all you got to do is go
javelins
watch,
are
go
from
read.
the UK, but we're paying for them.
I
We're
don't think we're
buying
paying
them.
for them.
And
I think they're
the
just the UK
switchblades are
missile
from
itself.
us. They invented the switchblade just for this conflict.
They yeah, and they haven't even showed anything. The Switchblades even shooting anything down yet. So
Yeah.
that's the real problem here. So if all those
I don't
weapons
know
were over
what you're
there, because
looking at, man,
there's
because
a lot of
I've
media
been
coming
following
out
this
of the
stuff pretty
Ukraine.
closely.
There's a lot of media coming out to Ukraine, and none of it is U.S. weapons that you're seeing. You know, you can look up U.S. weapons, and they're distinctly
I'll
different
tell
from
you this right
everybody else.
now: if NATO didn't get involved, we didn't get involved. The Ukraine would have been toast
Yeah,
by now.
NATO. Yeah, if NATO wouldn't have got involved, they would be toast. The U.S. hasn't really done anything. We've
You gotta
left
stop
this on
saying that
all of
because
our
it doesn't.
brother.
You don't sound smart saying that. The information's out there. There's
But
a
I
lot of
sound
information.
accurate. I
No,
sound
you don't.
accurate.
There's a lot of information out
Congress
there.
is saying, I don't know where you're getting the information from. So ABC, NBC, CBS, and BBC are all saying the U.S. hasn't sent hardly any weapons over there. Congress was bitching about it 2 days ago. Why hasn't the weapons been sent to the Ukraine? And then you've got the head of the Navy saying they're sitting on a dock in Norfolk. So you're getting bad information, Mike, because everybody in our country saying they're here, not there.
I'm watching them use the stuff.
I don't think you'd watch anything coming from here.
You know what I mean? Like they're well. How do you think those Russian tanks are exploding through
With
humor and
Stinger
goodwill?
missiles that are all over
They're
Poland.
not using
Poland sent, you
stingers.
do know that Poland sent more missiles than anybody else by far. By far. And they've
Germany,
actually sent other
Germany
weapons.
was one of
Yeah,
the
well,
biggest
Germany sent a
suppliers.
bunch. Yeah, Germany sent a bunch too, but it's not us, it's them. We can't take for the U.S. to take any credit on this is one of the biggest lies in
There
history.
is no us and them. We're NATO. We're all together,
No,
and
there
this,
is us
this is
and
what
them.
this money's going
There's
for.
what we're playing and
It's what
sending,
this money's
and
going
it's what
for.
they're
If,
sending.
I don't know why they're saying stuff is in Norfolk because the stuff we're giving them is already overseas. It's in surplus
No,
overseas.
all
It's not
those
coming from the
howitzers and all
U.S.
are being no. All the howitzers are coming from here. Most of the javelins are coming
They
from
said
here.
most of them are sitting there in the European theater,
I don't know
and
where. We don't use
and
howitzers over there. We pulled all
they're
that shit out of there a
supplying them
long
with
time
what's
ago.
there. We're basically giving them all our surplus, the stuff we weren't going to use anyway. Really,
So this is from the Department of Defense. We have sent no tanks, no howitzers. We have sent 1,400 Stinger anti-aircraft missiles to the Ukraine and 4,000 FGM-148 javelins. That's what we've sent. We have not sent anything else than that. So anything else you're seeing is an absolute lie. That's from the Department of Defense. That's what we've sent so far. So you can look it up for yourself. Go to the Department of Defense. That's where I'm at.
but
And
then I
that's
can
what
sit
they're
here and
saying.
say they're all lying. They're all lying.
Well, they are lying. The U.S. is
I know
lying.
what I see. I know what I see in the field, and I know what these guys are
Yeah,
using,
and that's
and
not our equipment.
I
The
see them
javelins are
popping
our
tanks, and
equipment.
I know
Yeah.
that we put a lot of money into this.
You know what I like about what's going on with the missiles over there. So they've got our javelins and stingers. They've got two different type of German missiles. They got a Polish missile. They've got a Ukrainian type of missile, and they've got some Israel type missiles. So these bitches have a repertoire of missiles like you wouldn't believe over there. And what they're doing, and the Ukrainians have talked about this before, is they're finding out which one works for which thing the best. And the U.S. was supposed to send them some more of those sea missiles, but we ain't sent those either for blowing up ships. We haven't sent those either. We talk a good talk, but we're not putting our money where our mouth is.
Okay.
Democrats are using this to try to go on our votes, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean,
I
this is
see the stuff
ongoing
being
3
used
months
in
forward.
theaters, so all these words mean nothing to me because I see things being used in the theater, and I know where they
You're
came.
not seeing any tanks, any howitzers, any helicopters. They have not supplied any of that. And there's no reason for the Department of
They
Defense
just
to
got
lie.
these
They work for
howitzers. They just
Biden.
started using them. I'll
They're not
send you the
using them.
videos
It's they're saying they haven't been sent. I don't know why the Department of Defense would lie. There's no reason for them to lie.
because they all
There's no
lie.
reason. No, there's no reason for the Department of Defense. It makes us
The
look bad.
DoD said that they are there. It's the media saying that they're lying.
The media is saying they're not there, and the Department of Defense is saying they're not there. They're
I
saying
don't
we
know.
haven't sent them
I
yet. They're
watched
still sitting in the
Pentagon
Ukraine.
briefings saying they were there, and I watched videos
As
today of
far as I know,
the howitzers in the field.
from the meeting that Zelensky had with Boris, from what I understand, The only thing the U.S. has sent is missiles and nothing else. We haven't even sent cash yet. We've only sent missiles. And we haven't even sent top of the line missiles. We sent middle of the line missiles. We're not putting anything good over there. Even the howitzers are used, and so nothing we're giving them is what we would consider state of the art weapons. So we're not really trying to help that much. I mean, the 92 E Stinger's been around a long time, and the 148 Javelin's been around for a long time. It's a great anti-tank killer. I'm not going to lie, but it's been
Okay,
around for a
17
long
hours
time.
ago. Ukraine is utilizing U.S. howitzers well, says Pentagon. So who do you think the DOD is part of?
I'm on the Pentagon site, and they're also saying they haven't been delivered. So I don't know where you're at. They're saying they have not been delivered. No U.S.
Most
howitzers
artillery
have left
pieces
U.S. soil.
provided to the Ukraine by Washington are already used on the front lines. They're being
I don't know
used.
where are they using them. Why aren't they?
We
Why
know
aren't
that
they
the
using
majority, the vast
this?
majority of
This
howitzers
is
we
the
have
easiest
standard.
way to prove this. This is the easiest way to prove this. If you go watch the videos of the 3 cities that are possessed right now, there are no howitzers bombing those cities. None. Not at all. You can't find any of our weapons being shot against them. There's only been
Who
missiles
knows if
being
they're
used.
even on
Nothing
that
else.
side of the country yet, man?
That's the only
You know
place
what
you
I
need
mean?
them at. You
They're
don't need them anywhere else. That's the only place
they're
you need howitzers
yeah,
is
but they're
where they've
getting the
occupied the
deliveries. They
city.
can't just go in and deliver them. They're getting the
Oh my
deliveries
God!
over the border
You
on the
just keep
west side.
believing the propaganda. Go ahead. You just keep believing
From
the
the
propaganda.
Pentagon?
The Pentagon doesn't say that. I'm on their site. It says
I'm reading what they're saying.
it says the same thing the DOJ says. The Department of Defense and the Pentagon say the same thing. 5,000 FJM 148 javelins, 1,409 Stingers, howitzers have not left the United States yet.
He said the
So
howitzers, the
maybe they're
artillery has
using
turned out to
Ukrainian.
be a critical component in Kiev's efforts to stem the Russian offensive in Donbass.
Well, they have nobody's seen them blowing them up.
So
Nobody's
it
using
says
them.
the DOD said that when the war was going on, going to go now to Donbass, and they supplied the howitzers, and they're getting the heavy long range artillery now. So they're
So
using them in theater.
I'm gonna pull up Lazinski's thing saying they're not there for you, since you got issues with this. Because he's saying they're not there either. So you've got the Department of Defense, the Pentagon,
Okay,
Congress, and the
so
president
now
of the
So now
Ukraine
listen to
saying
this.
they're not
The
there.
U.S. has been one of the greatest contributors in Ukraine's heavy weapon stockpile
Boy,
since the
that's just
full-scale
total
Russian invasion
propaganda.
started on the 24th of
That's
February.
total propaganda. That's all that is.
This is from the Pentagon.
That's propaganda. What you
From the
think the
Pentagon.
Pentagon don't use propaganda? They use it all the time.
This is just a news story, Joe. You know what? You can never admit that you're wrong. I mean, this is just
Because I'm
information.
not wrong, Mike.
I'm not making this
I'm looking.
information
I'm
up.
looking.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you
going to
are.
defend faulty information
Look,
either.
I'm on the Pentagon site. It doesn't say that. It says the exact same thing the DOJ site says, that they haven't been delivered yet. And I'm on the Ukrainian site right now, and he's saying the same thing. They have not been delivered to the
So why
Ukraine.
would you believe
So,
that from the
so
Pentagon, but
what?
not this from the
Lazinski?
Pentagon?
Because I'm not going to believe. I'm not going to believe because the one from Pentagon doesn't say that. I'm on the Pentagon site. It doesn't say that. I can't find that anywhere on the Pentagon site where they said they've
ABC
been delivered.
News, here we go. U.S. supplied howitzers to Ukraine. They don't have accuracy aiding computers. Yeah, we're giving them our second stuff,
Supplying them to them. I'm telling you, they're not there yet. They're not.
supplied.
Do you
Supplied.
realize?
They're
Do you
using them in
realize, Mike?
theater,
Think,
dude.
think about what you're saying, dude. If there was 150 U.S. howitzers there, all those cities occupied by the Russians now would not be occupied by the Russians anymore. We'd have bombed them into the Stone Age. That's how you know they're not there. Russia's making progress. They're not being pushed back. They're making forward progress. There's no howitzers there because they wouldn't be making forward progress if you had 100 howitzers bombing the shit out of them nonstop. That's how you know they're not there. Don't believe
They
the
just
propaganda, man.
started using them today, as far as I saw.
Sorry, somebody sent me a receipt for some weird Apple shit. I was kind of freaked out for a minute there. They all the sites I say the same thing. They're not there. They're saying they might never get there. As far as they're concerned, that
Who's
this is
they?
stuff that's the Department of Defense. They're saying that they haven't been delivered and they don't know when they're going to be delivered because the White House has not approved them to leave the country. They said the only weapons being used over there, except for missiles, are being supplied by our allies, not by us.
Okay. The U.S. provided 90 155 millimeter howitzers to Ukraine, along with more than 200,000
And do
artillery.
you know how much damage?
One
I've seen howitzers up close. Do you know how
one
much
day
damage
ago.
150 of them would do?
One day ago.
150 of them. Do you know how much damage 150 howitzers would do?
This is
Russians
90.
be retreating all over the
90.
place.
First of
Even
all,
90.
the number was 90, not 150.
Even
They're
90.
155 millimeter.
even 90 of them. You can wipe a city out with 90 howitzers in like 4 hours. I mean, you're talking major damage here, and that's just not happening in the Ukraine. They're not pushing them out. They're not buying them into the Stone Age. Well, maybe we just didn't send the armaments for them. Maybe we just sent the empty thing
Since
and
the
didn't
start
send
of the
them
Russian
the
invasion on February 24th, the U.S. has provided nearly $4 billion in security assistance.
Yeah, where? That's an
The
easy one.
U.S. has
Where?
provided over 1,400 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, over 5,000 Javelin anti-armor systems, and more than 700 Switchblade tactical unmanned. This is the DoD.gov. This is the Defense Department. This is what they're saying.
I'm on their site, and that's not what they're saying.
Then they go on to talk
And
about
I'll look. I'll put the damn thing on a page for you so you can see
baby
it.
formula.
The problem is, if we were doing everything we said we were doing for the Ukraine, this war would be a much different appearance than what it is.
First of all, the Ukraine pushed back a huge country like Russia, very powerful, and made them look like a bunch of idiots, man.
Yeah, without our help.
With NATO's weapons. No, of course.
No, in the beginning, all right, listen what
if we
you
didn't
just
give
said.
them anything, dude,
Nobody gave them nothing for the
Zelensky
first
would be
month.
dead. They'd be gone.
You do know that, right? Nobody gave them anything for the first month. Nobody. Everything they were using to keep
crap. Germany did.
Dude, they were still discussing it. Germany's a NATO country, and they were still discussing it. Nobody in NATO gave anything without that meeting, that first meeting, which happened almost a month after the invasion. No NATO country was giving anything because they didn't want to start World War III.
And nobody was going to
start World War III.
So that's just the way it goes.
All you just pissed Zinzi off if you go around saying that we were helping him in the first month.
I watched that guy play a piano with his penis for 5 minutes. He's no brainiac, and he destroyed his country.
Ain't no reason for him to lie.
He and that idiot Putin has destroyed the Ukraine.
Well, no,
I don't see how they're going to come back. After this,
they'll come back just like every other country comes back. It just there's nothing there that can't come back. As a matter of fact, you might find quite a few more Russians move over there after this shit.
They crumbled 2,000-year-old cities, man, destroyed them. So
we've been doing that since we've been alive. That's nothing new.
Yep.
Look at the Middle East.
And why did we get involved?
Actually, we shouldn't be involved at all. Playing around with Russia is a prelude to World War III. This isn't our business. They're not a NATO country. They're not even a freaking ally.
Nope.
So there's no reason for the United States to even be involved in this. We should not. It's not a war we should be fighting. Now, Taiwan's a whole different thing. We will get involved with Taiwan. We will physically get involved with Taiwan.
Maybe.
Because we don't have a choice. Taiwan produces 98% of all the chips in the world. We don't have a choice. We have to.
Of course we have a choice.
No, we can't. You can't let all that. They make not just for our cars. They make it for our tanks, our planes. There's no way. U.S. can't let them fall. Our allies can't let them fall. So China can't risk it. And what's going to happen if China tries to take them? We're going to cut them off. China won't have anything. They won't have anything to sell anybody to. Taiwan is just a no-win situation for everybody involved. Ukraine was nothing. It's a nowhere country. It doesn't contribute to the world other than grain. It's just a nowhere country. Taiwan contributes into the world in major ways. And it's a major player on the world market. Ukraine's that's a shame to say, but that's the way the world works. Taiwan is a much sore spot for the world than the Ukraine is.
The United States needs to be independent. It needs to be fuel independent. It needs to be manufacturing independent. And we need to stop relying on these countries that we're just giving countries who hate us money to buy weapons to fight us. And that's really all it's about.
I'm preaching to the choir on that, my friend. It's, some things we just need to change around. We were under Trump. We were pretty independent, and then for some reason, we became.
The Democrats want to move people over to their Green New Deal. They want you to suffer. They want you to. Meanwhile, you know what? Go buy electric cars. Oh, there's none available, right? You can't because people bought them all up, And electric cars, you need to pay to charge them. And where do you think that electricity comes from? Not windmills.
Oh, Texas did say, though, they produced more power this year from windmills than they did from any other.
That the same state that screwed everybody over when they had an ice storm?
Yep.
Made them pay thousands of bucks?
Yep, that's the same state.
I'm
not convinced, by the way, that they made. I think, but that's the problem with electric cars. First off, Lithium comes from Afghanistan from strip mining. So your electric car is already has a bigger carbon footprint than your regular car does. Just with that one thing, it's 2 times the footprint. When you consider all the parts come from around the world and they're assembled in different areas, a Tesla or just a cheap Chevy electric car is its carbon footprint is 5 times the size of your car, of your average American car. Plus, the fuel to make electric cars go have to come from the power grids, which is mostly coal or nuclear. So they're making the power grid worse. They're contaminating the planet more. Electric cars are not what you think they are. We're not nowhere near. When they come up with a self-generating electric car, then you can say okay. But right now, the way they work right now, no, they're doing more harm than good. And we just want to buy the bullshit that the media tells us, but it's not hard to find out. All you got to do is track them around the world. The ship that brings the uranium, I mean not the uranium, the lithium, it goes from Afghanistan to China to Japan to the United States. Do you know how big of a carbon footprint? We're talking a massive cargo ship here. Just that alone, not including all the processes, all the strip mining, all the raw lithium being converted. That's just one part of an electric car. That's just one part of it. And that battery is usually only going to be good for about 10 years. And then it has to be disposed, and it is nasty to dispose of. So, I mean, it's not what people think it is. It's not, they're not changing the power grid. They're not changing the way, they're not helping the planet like they want to be sold. And Elon, I love you, dude, but, you're not. Unfortunately, electric cars have a bigger carbon footprint than a normal everyday car does. Matter of fact, it's about equivalent to 2 Mack trucks. Or 5 or 6 cars. I mean, it's ridiculous. We need to change it. We need to fix it. And we can have self-generating electric cars, but for some reason we don't seem to want to go that direction.
Though they don't want to go in the direction of hydrogen either, which would be even easier.
Which is easier.
And that would deliver the water back into the atmosphere, and you have nothing wasted.
It's for some reason the things that can help us the most we don't want to mess with.
The Israelis built an engine that's capable of producing about 80 horsepower for a hydrogen engine, and it ionizes the water for you. You just put water in the tank, it'll ionize the water, create hydrogen, and burn it, and it'll goes back into vapor. But they don't want to do that because the top 5 Fortune 500 companies are all oil companies, and they look at the profits they're making right now. The profits are disgusting what they're making, man. And you know what? You know why they're making profits? Because it doesn't cost much to produce the fuel, and there's no crisis. The only crisis is the futures market, and this idiot Biden just keeps pulling permits and doing all kinds of stuff. He's doing everything he can to destroy this country.
On a complete, yeah, I agree with you. So the other day, crazy Justin Trudeau and one of his people in Canada go, well, Biden, what are you doing with he said we could both be energy efficient. What the hell are you doing? I mean, now you've got a liberal guy. I mean, you can't get any more liberal than Pink Shorts. I mean, that guy's as liberal as they come. I mean, he might as well marry AOC. And he's telling our crazy liberal president, what are you doing? Y'all had it made. Now all of a sudden you just, it's and this is another problem for Biden. I didn't realize this until about a week ago. So a lot more of Trump's things got left in place than I thought. Because a lot of the progressives have given Biden trouble because there's like 50 bills that Trump put in that he won't get rid of because they work. And I guarantee you he wishes he would have never screwed with the way the gas was being done. Because right now he would have a 50% approval rating if he had done Afghanistan a bit better and left the gas alone, everybody would be much happier. Because you can't fix the economy when the rigs are paying $6 a gallon for diesel. There's no way to fix it like that. You're just causing more damage than good.
Poor people are getting poorer. Middle class is becoming poorer, and people aren't meeting their bills now. Because they've got to make decisions if they're going to put fuel in their car or buy food. You know what I mean? So it's a crisis, a huge crisis, and it's going to get worse.
Huge crisis.
They have no answers. They have no answers.
I don't even know if they want answers. It's almost like the liberals have become, let's destroy the country.
I think that's their mindset. If you read about psychology and liberalism and how it's,
I mean, that's true. And if you listen
it's a disorder.
And if you listen to some of their other leaders that are in the middle, like Bill Maher and them, they're saying, look, you're destroying the country.
I think that
Uh,
there are people who hate themselves, and they hate everything around them, and they want to destroy everything. They're self destructive to begin
yeah,
with,
yeah.
you know. And if you look at these so called protests, that's all we've seen: the looting, burning down police stations, all of that stuff. They talk about their insurrection on July 6th. What about the years before that, when these protesters, who were all liberals, who put themselves out there as liberals, raped, pillaged, plundered, burned down police stations, and did all that?
And they still don't want to talk about that.
Right.
They just don't want to talk about that.
Because
They're
it's
like,
justified in their mind. And Obama at the time, did he tell them to stop? Did he say stop the violence, or did Hillary say stop? No, they provided all that dark money for Antifa and all these other groups to go forward, hit people in the head with a brick who's trying to speak their mind. They're going
it's
after
exactly
Elon
true.
Musk because he wants free speech and Twitter. He wants an even playing field, and look how they're going after him, pulling out all the stops. Right?
It's it's Betty White's favorite French fries. Who the hell sent me that? Hey, did you send me that?
It's like wind turbines, right? You can never get a straight answer out of the energy department of how much energy the wind turbines actually produce, because they lump it all together with renewables, right?
Yeah,
So
they did.
they cost, about 2.5 million, 4 million a piece, each one, to build, and they don't last that long, and it costs about 400,000 to decommission them, But when I was driving out west, when I was looking at thousands of these things, they weren't spinning, they weren't moving. And yeah, maybe I mean, the wind was blowing pretty hard too. So the wind has to really blow to make these things move. But they won't tell
They
you
hacked it up.
on the fossil fuel versus the cost of that versus the windmill and what they created, and what are you really paying for that power, So that's just, it's just another thing. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of want to, but who makes this money? Who makes the money for these wind farms? I think they're ugly. I think these windmills are
Yeah,
ugly.
that's why they put them in. They want to put them in the ocean. And when you get out in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, once you cross the middle of Texas, whether you're on Interstate 20 or Interstate 10, it is just a windmill farm. All of West Texas, past Austin, is a windmill farm. I don't understand why there's not solar panels in between the windmills. I
So
mean,
check this out. Once built, maintenance is an ongoing expense,
of
about
course it
50
is.
50,000 bucks a year to maintain these things, right? And they break all the time. The blades break. The blades are expensive in of themselves. They'll sit there broken for a long time. So I don't know. I think that you can argue that back and forth, and you're trying to get away from fossil fuels, sure, but in the same sense, you don't want to drown people in
I'm
debt.
with you. I think windmills have the same problem that cars have, or that electric cars have. Right now, they're not. They're first off, the average windmill only lasts like 3 years. I was talking to one of the guys at work on. He said they
Yeah, they
last
don't
about
last
3 years.
long.
He said they're very expensive. He said they take a lot of maintenance. Matter of fact, I was watching a video when they caught on fire. It was kind of freaky. Guys up there trying to put the fire way up in the air. And he said it's hard to find people to work on. One, it takes a certain skill, but two, it takes a certain type of nerve to get your ass way up there and hang off the side of it while you're working on it. So I mean, I can.
So check this out, right? Aside from the cost of them, you got to think, here's a whole list: the insurance, the land rent, service, repair and spare parts, administrative tasks, the power, because it actually takes electricity to run the windmill. They need the electricity to run the windmill. Get that, right? And a whole bunch of other miscellaneous costs, they say. So you're talking about a
I'm all
lot.
look. I'm all for saving the planet or saving our ass. I shouldn't say saving the planet, but I'm all for saving our asses. But really and truly, at this point, I'm kind of like, people, stop lying to us. Just be honest about shit for a change and say, okay, look, wind power is not, it's not everything, but it's a start. Just like solar, it's a start. I mean, I got to say this, and this is happening in the South a lot. People were putting these windmills on, I mean, windmills, they're putting these solar panels on their roofs. Well, the neighbors started suing because it was bringing down their property values.
So here it is, right? 1 megawatt is supposed to produce, a million, of course, 1 million watts of power. 1 megawatt reportedly can run about 1,000 average homes. But this says right here, wind turbines don't come close to producing their rated capacity because
Right.
of the changing wind speeds. So the Department of Energy won't tell you how
Yeah.
much electricity these create, because
And
I think they don't want to be embarrassed.
And I agree with you, and I'm glad you brought that up because they're supposed to build them in places where there's sort of consistent speed. So the flats in Texas, there's an average wind that comes sweeping through there fairly regular. On the coast, like up where you live in, if you're in New York and off the Atlantic coast, there's supposed to be X amount of wind that comes through there at a fairly regular basis. Like where I live, we get 10 mile, 15 mile hours. It's a steady wind every day because we live off the edge of the coast. But that's it. I mean, it's not like you're getting a 50 mile, 70 mile hour wind. And what happens when those kind of winds come along? Those things aren't made in windmills aren't rated for that kind of shit. And let's not forget, and the guy hated to admit to this, they kill more than 1 million birds a year. 1 million birds a year flying through these bitches and die. Just the one in Texas alone kills more than 100,000 birds a year. Oh my lord, man! You're
Yeah,
gonna have all of
they kill a lot of predatory birds like hawks and eagles, and that's really it's causing a big problem in the Midwest when it comes to rats, mice, and things like that. I've been reading about it that it kills that many birds, So I think enough's enough. You know what I mean? I think that these, what, the roots of these companies, these green companies, are kind of rooted in people like Al Gore. How do you think he
well,
made hundreds of millions of dollars? He left office as a vice president with almost nothing, made hundreds of millions of bucks because of stuff like this, and then they get government grants. I think they don't care where they throw their money.
no, they don't. And they were
And it's
talking
our
about that.
money. It's our
You
money.
remember when who was it? When Obama was throwing all that money around to all these solar farms and wind farms, and then they found out that it was just a waste of money. Um, it sucks. Oh, good. It's better over here. It sucks. I mean, I understand we need to develop this, and I'm all for developing this. But don't lie to us about it. Just say, look, it's not producing quite what we think. We're headed in the right direction. Another decade, maybe 2 decades, maybe three, maybe 50 years, this technology will be feasible. And again, why we don't develop hydrogen? People, I remember a guy told me, well, it's like having a hydrogen bomb on every corner. That's not true. It's not how hydrogen works. First off, and let's not forget, people in the 1920s, they said having a gas station on every corner was going to be a big bomb. Well, we turned out that's not true either. I mean,
Right.
there's a gas station everywhere now. So hydrogen was the best way to go. I know there's still a hydrogen highway in California, but it was the way to go. It was clean. It was efficient. And the only thing we can do better than that is come up with cold fission, so we can have about something about the size of a golf ball runs your car, something about the size of a softball runs your house, and it runs your
Cold
house for
cold
6 days.
fusion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. The best power, electric power, and it, is nuclear power. But people
for
worry
now,
about
yeah.
that, and we've seen terrible things. We've seen Chernobyl. We've seen what happened in Fukushima over in Japan. You know what I mean? And you don't want meltdowns all over the place, but it really is the best way to boil water. You know, unless they come up with cold fusion, like you said.
Jackie, the U.S. is not sending troops to Ukraine. I don't know who told you that, but they're
Well, we
not.
kind of already did, but they're just for training purposes.
Because that's an act of war. If we put troops
Uh,
on the ground in Ukraine, that's an act of war.
they're not fighting troops, but we are giving them intelligence and that type of thing too.
Yeah, we
So
are giving them intelligence, and which Russia bitched about just recently. But and a bunch of generals came out and said, "Why are we bragging about giving them information to
because
shoot
Joe
tanks?
Biden can't keep his mouth shut, the whole
Because he's
administration,
an idiot." Yeah. Well,
you
it's
know
not
what?
even Joe Biden. It's whoever writes, whoever's in charge of that effing teleprompter. It's probably some little kids who's writing all this shit.
All these
Uh,
people have the mentality of a 12-year-old about, and not even a smart 12-year-old. And then they haven't matured past that. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of 12-year-olds, and then they don't know how to fix things. They don't know how to run things. Trump was a master of industry. He made fortunes. He knew how to run things and do things and make money. Joe Biden is just a crappy politician who's been in there for what, 50 years or something. He has never done anything. Just
so
lied. He's lied a lot. They caught him in a lot of lies, plagiarizing people and all that.
so the U.S. Well, the Navy says they've got 100 of these ship-killing missiles that they're willing to part with to the Ukraine, and they're going to deliver them to the coast so that they can undo the
So Popular
blockade.
Science, and Popular
It
Science
is
is a pretty
crazy,
good
man.
publication, says that it's undetermined if windmill power is even a worthwhile thing, because at minimum, even at 35% of capacity, they only produce about 50,000 bucks worth of electricity a year for sellable
That's why there's so
electricity.
many of them.
But
That's
but
the
then if it
beauty of it.
costs 60,000 to maintain the thing, you're working in negative numbers.
Yeah, well, you know how to get around that, right? So Texas, like let's we use Texas for example, because it's probably the biggest solar wind and solar right now. So the way they do that is okay. This windmill costs 60,000, but we got to get X amount of electricity out so we can make our money back. Well, Texas isn't going to make its money back. It's only going to make, well, for the sake of argument, we'll say 70% of it back. So we, the people, the U.S. federal government subsidizes the rest, so it's not a loss. It's a sneaky bullshit trick because it tries to show that they're making a profit, but they're not making a profit because the feds are picking up the rest of the tab.
Yeah, they're just
Um,
moving money around and
yeah,
saying,
that's all they're doing. They just playing the shell game, just shelling around, moving around, and that's exactly what. And I'm not saying people. I'm not against solar or wind. I'm just thinking we need to develop it in a better way. Look, you don't trust me? You can go on TikTok or any of these Instagram or any of these places and type in solar windmills that mess up. There are literally thousands of these videos. These things catch on fire, arms fall off them, and there's another big problem with them. They're made in another country and then they have to be trucked all over the United States. And every now and then you'll be driving and you'll see this big truck next to you, these big long, fan wings hanging
one
out.
blade
Yeah,
is
one
pretty
blade. That's it too.
huge.
One blade out of three blades. So that's three different trucks, not including all the rest of the equipment. It takes a lot of energy to make them. And what's got to be done with them is they've got to be designed to last 20, 50, 80 years. That's the real trick. Right now, they don't. If you get 5 years life out of one, you're doing good. And you're just not making your money back that way. You need long term, and they can't have a shitload of maintenance either. Look, I know you can make electric motors that last forever because there's a lot of them around still today.
Not sitting there on the ocean, man. I'll tell you about salt
They're
water.
not sitting on the land. Yeah, not sitting on saltwater. It eats my house about time. I actually have to change my sills, my locks, and my outside fans and lights about every 2 years because it eats them out. Matter of fact, the son of a bitch, I leave my bathroom window open. It ate the little screws off one of my lights in my bathroom and it fell off
Yeah,
the
salt
wall.
water. Salt is one
Oh,
of
it's
the
a
most
bitch.
corrosive
It's a
things.
bitch. It is. It's a bitch. But I know we got to get out of here because we 20 after. Guys, y'all can catch Michael on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Discovery Paranormal on Tuesdays. Red Pill News on Thursdays. I'm back on UFO Uncover on Wednesdays. Fridays, we'll either be here doing this show, Michael and I, whoever wants to join us. And every now and then I'll be doing Science and Beyond because I have some guests. Like I have, now I forgot his name. I have Tim Powers, who was one of the writers of, he's written quite a few things. He's done quite a few movies. But his last one, I think, was one of the movies that, what's his face starred in? The pirate movies. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, he wrote one of those, and then we got a guy from Dune coming on. We had a
Last
lot of
movie I
big
saw
authors
from
coming
Johnny
on.
Depp, it was called "There's a Turd in My Bed." It was
I
a very
know.
interesting movie.
You know what? They might make a movie of that too. You make a joke, but they might make a movie nasty.
How do you think she did it, man? You think she squatted, or you think she like
I
just
don't want to
laid there?
know. Some things I don't want to
You think
know,
she
man.
just
That's
kind
one of
of
them
like
things.
bent over and blasted?
And then we don't even know if it's true. Maybe she just went and got a turd out the
No,
backyard.
man. They all said it. They all said that. Of
Uh,
course, she didn't clean it up. It was the help that had to clean it up.
so Amber, so what's going on for these two? Amber is out of her movies now. Johnny's out of his movie. He's been thrown out of three movies now. Amber's been thrown out of
Because she
what is
could
it,
never act
Aquaman.
anyway. She
Oh,
she
you know
wrote
what's
his
funny though?
she wrote his coattails like Will Smith's wife wrote his coattails.
So I seen a video of Johnny Depp and what's his name from Iron Man and Samoa guy making fun of Amber. They were giving her all kinds of shit. Apparently, she's a pain in the ass to work with too.
Well, there was no chemistry, they said, between the Samoan guy and Amber Heard.
Yeah.
She probably pooped in his coffee or something, man. He found a
God,
turd,
yeah. Well,
blame
what's
it
his
on the
name? What was
blame it on the dog. She
what
blamed
was
it on
Iron
the
Man's
dog.
name?
Johnny Depp said he sees dogs poop many times and he was never that big.
What is that guy's name that played Iron Man? I can't think of his damn name. But, he was making fun of it. It's just crazy. This woman seems to have a lot of bad luck. But we'll see what happens. What do you
She's
mean?
she's
Do I
playing
know who
all the
can win?
female cards that she can to try to say, he did this and he did that and whatever. And they're entering a whole bunch of stuff in court that doesn't even belong in the case.
Johnny's going to win, but he's not going to get anything. Boy.
It's a defamation case, not a defecation case. She defecated, but did she ruin his name? I'll tell you about this dude. He's before her. he's been in court with his manager, his management company, and all these people because he's burned through all of his money. He spends a couple million a month on crap and nothing. So now they're suing him for back payments and all that. So this is going on at the same time as a stupid trial between these two
Yeah,
idiots.
well, yeah, that kind of stuff won't hurt him in the movies, but all these other things
He's
they've been.
done. Look at him. He's ugly now. He's not even like the good looking like he used to be. He's done, man. He's done. Stick a fork in him. He's done.
I don't know. Until this trial started, he had three movies in mind,
Yeah, but they
including another
suck.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I
Have you
didn't say
seen
he
those
didn't
movies? They're
suck.
terrible,
I
man.
didn't say he didn't suck. I just said he had three of them.
I see the
That's what
coming.
this is
You know
about.
what? They put the best bits in the coming attractions. When you see that
Oh,
movie
that is
trailer, that's the best bits of the movie, man. You don't even have to watch the movie because you've already seen the best bits. His movies, oh my God, they're horrible. He's horrible.
Oh, and everyone who's a Star Trek fan, be sure to go check out Strange New Worlds. It's doing pretty good. It's a new one with Captain Pike in it. So
I just saw that porno on YouPorn.
it's better. It's better than Discovery, is all I can tell you. Leave it at that. It's better
Better
than
than
Spark
YouPorn?
people. Better than all of them people. But we got to go, guys. Because we got to get out of here. Because I got a couple things. I still got to post a bunch of shows yet tonight and get them posted for tomorrow.
I
No,
search
no,
I search YouPorn for alien probing, man. That's the only place where you're gonna find the real info.
not bad. Anyway, y'all, if y'all can
Better
find Mike,
better
please
than the
info.
National Enquirer.
No, we don't do shows on Mondays no more. Not the groups don't do shows on
Monday,
Mondays.
Monday.
Monday's full. Monday's full from noon
I saw you
till
on there
2
with
a.m.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Man, no Mondays, baby. Call me. You get famous with your daddy. Yeah, but it's call me your daddy. Let's see. Oh, no, that's an alien right there, buddy.
Oh man, look at that.
Come on,
That
come
dog
on.
can't eat
Let's
that
see.
frog.
That dog will eat your toe right the hell off, buddy.
Eat
Don't
that
give it no.
frog.
Come here, Fiona. Where you at? You want to get up here, Fiona? No, Fiona. Come on. Well, I can only get the big one to show you.
I
But
want you to put the frog on the air, man. I want to see that
the
sucker.
frog's outside, man.
He
They
was
take the dog.
he was all over this show.
They you come up here. Where you at,
She
Fiona?
just put, don't worry about it. She'll go around the
That's
circles.
my baby girl. Oh, you want to come stay? You want to come get on TV right quick? Come on.
That's the
Get up
star
here,
of the
good
show.
girl.
There we go.
Yeah, that's my baby. There,
She's
that's
like,
my
it's
baby.
it's late, Daddy. I'm tired.
That's my baby
Give
dog.
me
There.
some hamburger.
She's the next president of the United States, Fiona Montaldo. She's going to run the country now. And you know what? I think she'll do a hell
She'll
of a
do a
better
better
job
job than anybody is in there.
than the moron that's currently in you're all
She could
wired and
bark
dead.
out some new policies, man.
She's a terror. She will look. If she sees one of them frogs in the house, she will eat them.
And if she poops in the bed in the White House, that's quite all right.
No, she don't do that kind of stuff.
Nobody
She's a good
fault
girl.
her. Nobody
But
would fault
we,
her.
we really got to go. I'm watching our audience struggle, so we got to go, guys. Go. Y'all tune in. We'll be here next Friday, getting in trouble. There's a lot of shit going on. We'll be updating you on the war. We'll be updating you on everything that's going on. No, and by the way, you can send links in. Just send them to my messenger because if you send them to my messenger, I can click them and I can put them in here if we want to look at them in here. When you send them to my phone, I can't really click on them. For the people who know my phone,
That sounds like trouble.
But if you send them to the messenger, I can click and show them. We can put them on the screen with us and stuff like that. But
And of course, here in the Northeast, we're having a massive hot wave this weekend of 100 degrees, man, in May, which is very unusual.
We're gonna
And
rain all week.
record-breaking unusual. So everybody out there, watch out for your pets, watch out for yourselves, drink lots of water, and stay out of the hot sun, man.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
It was just 30. It was just 32 degrees the other night. So
it's gonna start. Yeah, I know. Don't you love that? It's gonna start raining here tomorrow afternoon and quit around Wednesday. So.
Well, Sunday they're calling for massive storms where I am.
Yeah, y'all probably getting ours, because we're getting massive. We got a 90% chance of rain, so we're gonna. It likes to shoot up on an angle up to y'all from up.
It does. It goes right from New Orleans right to
Yeah,
New
it
York.
does. It just shoots right up there. Sometimes you'll catch it in Texas early, but it does.
I
But again,
call
guys
it
and
the
girls,
Voodoo Express.
thanks for tuning in. For any other shows, y'all can contact me and I'll let y'all know what's going on. A lot of stuff going on the network, a lot of things changing. Got some new shows coming in the next couple of weeks. I had a gentleman, somebody asked me about bringing on a Christian paranormal person. I'm not sure about that. Why don't y'all write to me and let me know as listeners, what do y'all think?
And here's a public service message for everybody out there. Don't poop in the bed.
That's right. Don't forget that. That's what bathrooms for idiots. Good night, everybody.